Welcome back to WRPL, the podcast where we talk about all the things we are watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well.
Good. And welcome back, Nick. It hasn't been too long since you were here, but you have some time off for once to be a part of this, so might as well have you back. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I know that we're doing a topic that I'm kind of excited to go over. So
yeah, it
I'm
was
happy
your
to be here.
idea, and I mean it could be its own like standalone show if you really wanted to do like deep dives on the things we were talking about. But we are going to be discussing movies that have rotten scores on Rotten Tomatoes, mainly critic scores, but we personally love, whether we think they're legitimately good or we recognize their flaws, but there's just something about it, nostalgia, childhood, whatever.
Yes.
Steve, I wanted to start off asking you, did you try cilantro?
Not yet, no.
God damn
but
it. It's right. It's at your work.
I know. Well,
eat it.
the thing was, someone was chopping it up next to me, and it was like 5 feet away, but it was such a strong, pungent smell. I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna like this."
Okay, good.
There's
good.
no way.
Nick, do you like cilantro? I would assume not.
I don't know what is cilantro exactly.
It's also known as coriander.
It's an ice cream.
No, it's a leafy green thing. It's
Yeah,
in a lot of
that's
Mexican
what I was
foods.
thinking. Yeah. Like in salsa.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah,
And some people think it tastes like soap. Like I think it tastes like soap.
if I've had it, I honestly don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I maybe like the things that I get in those restaurants don't have it on as much. I don't know.
Because it's always been like
Doesn't
popped
sound
into
familiar.
things, and I try and like, man, why does this taste so bad? I like this thing, this salsa, this salad, whatever, and like, oh, because it's cilantro. But
Does it taste like soap? Because I've heard that about it.
I think so. I'd ask.
Yeah, I don't
Steve,
think
but
I would
he
like it then.
Didn't bother eating it. Just put
I'll
a little
get
bit
to
in.
it.
All right. So let's get to some of the things we've consumed. I guess I'll start. Well, quickly, Steve, your favorite show came back for season 4. Want to take any guesses?
Season 4.
Season 4. You
You
would never watch this.
I figured that would be the answer. I mean, the only one I consistently talk trash on is Walking Dead.
Yeah, I got one more episode left, and
Oof.
then it's done. Yeah, it's like
And
the
then
last
until you-
episode I watched today, and it was like nothing. It was so insignificant. They got to cram so much shit into this final episode to be worth any of the time, the 11 years it took to get through it.
Doubt it. What show?
Oh, Titans.
Oh, pass.
I don't. Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know why I watch it. I know it's bad, but it's back. And anywho, I have nothing to say on that really. But I did finish a show, Interview with the Vampire, which is on AMC. It was only 7 episodes. I thought it would have ran longer, but I guess who knows how successful these things are going to be. Have either of you guys watched the movie Interview with the Vampire?
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen the movie.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces, so no.
Okay. Well, I rewatched the movie afterwards as well, and I think I'm going to stick with my gut because I hadn't seen it since I was a teenager, and I never really liked it. And there's merits, but I don't think it's very good. I think Tom Cruise is good. I think Kirsten Dunst is good. I think Brad Pitt is kind of terrible in it. We make fun of Keanu Reeves in Dracula for his performance, but nobody makes fun of Brad Pitt in Interview with the Vampire. And that's like, I do not believe he's a period accurate person.
They might not make fun of him, but I mean, have you seen Brad
I know,
Pitt, Ben?
but
I mean, I get it.
Keanu Reeves, he's no slouch.
I think you're saying like he has his performance in
Yes.
that movie.
But-
I like that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do kind of remember him standing out maybe a little bit.
He kind of looks like he's like, I don't know, a human version of an animated lion. Like his hair is really fluffy and he just has this fucking look on his face. I think Tom Cruise does a pretty good
Yeah,
job. I mean,
Tom
he's not a
Cruise is good.
convincing Frenchman, but he has some menace. But it's Kirsten Dunst who's great.
When he comes across him at the end after a long time,
And he's all rotted out. Yeah.
that's a good scene.
And I totally forgot about all that. I was like, oh yeah, no, they kill him. And this is where the show ends. They end it when they kill Lestat. And I forgot there's like so much more movie. That like Antonio Banderas shows up and
Yeah.
he has a bunch of vampires. I'm like, oh, I completely forgot. And then Lestat comes back, and I should have realized that because Queen of the Damned, it's all about him becoming like a rock star.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like recast. It's like Stuart Townsend
Mhm.
is playing the Tom Cruise role
You never
Wait, so
the Leo?
Queen of the Damned is a sequel
to
to Interview
with the
with
Vampire. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like 15 Interview with the Vampire books, and
Damn
Queen of the
nice.
Damned is yeah.
I mean, I've never seen Queen of the Damned either, but
Mm.
I had
Aaliyah's
no
last
idea they
movie.
were
It's
connected.
very
It's not very good, but I wanted to rewatch it after I watched the movie, but it's not available for free on anything, so whatever. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna say the movie's not great, but the show is pretty good if you are okay with like it's like a trashy romance novel. I always remember the original movie being like pretty gay, you know. But it really isn't, and I guess like, even in the book, it's more subtext than actual text, and the show is just like, oh no, this is really fucking gay. They are absolutely in love with each other, which I think adds a lot more to it. But the strongest thing of the movie is Kirsten Dunst, and I think the weakest thing of the show is the Claudia character. I don't remember the actress's name. She's not very good. I don't believe her at all. Her accent is really phony sounding. I think she gets better as she ages up, but yeah, I don't think she's good. Actress bad, character good. It's a fun show if you want to see like hot dudes making out and going into people with their teeth.
With their teeth. With their teeth. Okay.
But yeah, it has some pretty good gore too. It's really bloody. In the last episode, this dude got his like whole jaw ripped off. It's pretty awesome. And just the idea of this vampire who's lived forever and telling his story in the interview, or just being like, "You're full of shit," you know. I don't believe this, and this is how I could disprove that. But I'd recommend it if you were newly dating someone and you want to get them into something, you know, a show like we always suggest like Leftovers because it's one of the greatest shows ever.
Yes.
And you want to like kind of make a move, get things going, you know, show them sexy, horny vampires with a little bit of violence, a little scary. I think this is a good show, and it's only 7 episodes. You can blow right through it.
Isn't most like vampire films have a sequence where it is a bunch of sexy vampires doing stuff to each other?
Yeah, that's kind of one of the appeals of vampires, but yeah.
I feel like you could. I've never seen Underworld, but I imagine there might have been a scene in there where like some vampires were making out.
Probably the
Yeah, I think you picked the one.
the
that's
one wrong one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blade 2, yeah, vampires in a club just like going nuts.
Yeah, definitely Blade 1 as
Blade
well.
1. But yeah, I think Underworld has like the horniness factor of like her in the skin tight leather and look
Yeah.
how fucking cool we are.
Though there's a sex scene in
I
the
think I've
second
only
one.
seen the first Underworld because I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a sex scene in the second one. I'm not saying it's like super crazy or
Yeah.
anything, but
Woman on man, passionate kissing, very zoomed in probably.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't remember.
Yeah, fuck
but...
those movies. I don't like them. But
So
yeah,
they're not going to be on your list.
they're not going to be on my list.
You mean, okay.
They're all rotten. They all got to be rotten.
Yeah.
And if you like it, that's fine, because it was pitched to me as Romeo and Juliet with vampires and werewolves. And wow, that's an amazing idea. And then like The Matrix came out, and everything had to be cool like The Matrix, and I think that kind of ruined it. And I don't really like Kate Beckinsale all that much, but it's got Bill Nye, and I like him. Yeah. Vampires, I love them. I know, Steve, you don't have very much to talk about, so I'm gonna skip you.
Cool.
Nick, you didn't have a lot to talk about last time, but you got a few more things. What have you been consuming?
Well, I want to talk about the park first.
It's a form of consumption monetarily.
Yeah, they definitely got a lot of my money for sure. But it's like, well, I'll say I went to Universal. For
Florida.
me, Universal Florida Orlando Studios, and it has Island of Adventure is the park that's next to it as well. Within those parks, there's Harry Potter World. I mean, it's all inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Do they still have the tram with the King Kong, or did they take that out?
The tram with the King Kong.
Yeah, you get on the, what's it called?
They took out King Kong, but they replaced it with a different King Kong ride based on Peter Jackson's.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So there's no longer like you're in the tram and you're going through the city. Now it's like you're going through Skull Island.
It just has its own thing, or the tram ride is the King Kong
No,
ride?
I don't even know if it's in the same location. I'm just saying they've completely destroyed that
Okay.
King Kong ride, and now there's a different one.
So no Jaws, no
I think Jaws. Oh no, Jaws doesn't exist anymore. There you go.
the Water World water stage show.
I think that left 20 years ago. Then.
And I guess Back to the Future is gone now.
I was gonna say, I mean, in the same vein of what you were just saying, I didn't think of the ones that you just said, but I definitely was kind of looking around for the Back to the Future ride
Mhm.
because this is my first time going. And growing up, I always saw like Back to the Future ride, in
Mhm.
Universal, so I was looking for it. But 2007 apparently it was removed.
What about ET? Is the ET?
ET's still there, and
Okay.
that's one of the few that I didn't get on. They described it to me that the people I was with, I was in a group of there was 8 of us. Some of them had been there already. They said that it's okay to skip, and I was like,
Okay.
okay. And we did. I mean, we were there all week, and we didn't make time for a lot of stuff, but we still did have to cut some time here and there because
Mhm.
So I missed that one.
I hear ET's at the end, and he like says goodbye to everybody, and it knows your name.
Yep.
That's so cool. I want ET's to say goodbye to me. But anywho,
Well, I mean, I'm not going to talk about all the rides, but
every single ride in detail. I want to know line wait times.
no, I'll just say like there's a Hulk ride. That was one of the first roller coasters we went on. It's called the Incredible Hulk, and it's supposed to be like you're turning into the Hulk or whatever. I mean, it's like one of those rides that kind of tries to have a story. But
It's not a coaster. It's a screen ride.
no, this one is
It is a coaster,
Yeah,
okay.
and they launch you out, and it's really cool. Like when you're in the tunnel and you're about to launch, there's like I told you already, like really cool, like theatrical, epic music playing, and it's just really cool. And they launch you, I think, like 0 to like 60 or something. It's a decent launch. It turns you right into this like downward spiral drop, and I mean I don't remember how the track goes, but I won't
a
get
left and a right.
yeah I won't get into that in much detail. I'll just say it's a really fun ride. So I like that one a lot. There's not a ton of coasters. Like there's a Velocicoaster, which just opened this
Terrible
year.
name. I know you got to do it, but it's not a good name.
Velociraptor coaster.
Yeah, I get it. I totally understand why marketing did it, but I think it's stupid sounding.
Sure, but there's like raptors like that you when you're going around that kind of roar at you or whatever. But I have to take my glasses off for these rides, unfortunately. So there's some things that I didn't really see until like the second ride, and then I'm like, oh, there's velociraptors. But cool thing about this roller coaster is there's, as I told you already, a second like acceleration. Like halfway through the ride, you go through another tunnel, and it launches you back up again, like really
Amazing.
fast into like an upward, like you climb, and then you go to this really far like downward loop shit or something. I don't know. There's a lot of really awesome stuff in that ride, and I think it's the newest one. So, yeah. But I wanted to talk to Steve kind of because he's been there before, and they do have a lot of virtual rides that are like movie rides, like there's a Transformers ride, and you're like, there's a story. Like when you're waiting in line, there's like a story. There's screens. Like it's really cool. And waiting in line inside the air conditioning is the best thing. I cannot stress that enough. Like my big thing about theme parks is like you're in lines forever. Now I'm also out in the sun, like roasting. Like this sucks. But yeah, almost all these lines are indoors in the air conditioning. Just that's definitely my.
I wonder why other theme parks don't do that.
It's probably expensive.
Maybe, but is it a look thing? Like, oh, if you see the park from the sky, you can see all of our rides and look how fun this is. And Universal, oh, it's a bunch of buildings.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
I'm not sure. But I
don't
love
give
it.
a shit. Give me the air conditioning.
I mean, even some of the coasters too. Like almost every ride, honestly. Like most of the Hulk line is indoors. But anyway, the virtual rides are really fun, and I don't think there's any too new this year. So Steve, you've probably gone on most of them. So what do you think about the Spider-Man ride, if you remember it?
Yeah, the Spider-Man ride was probably one of the might have been the first like story-driven interactive coaster kind of things I've been on, where it's like you're in front of a screen and like Spider-Man's like, we gotta stop Doc Ock, and then Doc Ock comes out and is like tentacle lands on the front of your car and he like shakes it and everything.
Like a levitation gun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
So when I saw that as like a youngster many moons ago, I thought that was like super cool. But the last time I went to the park and did like all the Harry Potter rides and all that kind of stuff, it was just like, oh, every single ride is this now.
Yeah.
This is boring to me. Cause it's like, yeah, it's fun the first time, but after that it's like, oh, well, I don't want to like watch the same story over and over again. And if every ride is just a mini movie playing as you go through it, it's like, oh well, like I'm only gonna fall so many times. So it's like, oh, I'm in a bus that's falling. I'm on a broom that's falling. I'm just like you're always in some sort of vehicle or some sort of like flying device that's just like plummeting at some point. It's like, okay, like and I know that's like what roller coasters are. Like you just go up and down, but at least there's like an outside element to it. But I get it. I see that it's kind of like the future as of right now. But they're a lot of fun. But I don't need to do them every single time now. But maybe I just have gotten old and cynical.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree to an extent. Like, for instance, the group that I was with, they wanted to do Transformers a third time. Like, we had done it the previous day, and then we did it a second time the next day. And listen, like what Steve said, I think it's fine. They're like, most of them are fun enough for like a 2-time thing, because there is a little more to it than drops. I mean, it's 3D for one. You're always, and it's a good 3D. It's really synchronized with the movement of whatever you're in. So it's really, and like Spider-Man, I know, I think, or it might have been Transformers. I mean, you do this like crazy spin. It's whipping the whole car around. They're really fun, but because you are kind of watching through a story, I agree with what he's saying. It's like the third time ago, and they were like, "Do you not want to ride this?" I was like, "No, like I've already ridden this. Like, you go through this tunnel thing, and then Megatron shoots a missile at you. I get it, like, but like it really is.
Shooting Megatron, been there, done that.
No, but that is cool. Like, there's a missile coming at you, and like they shoot you back, they pull you back real fast, blow all this air in your face, fireballs in your face. I mean, it's really well done. But like Steve said, you don't need to do them over and over. But
and I bet it's better than the movie, because the movie puts in edits and really bad cinematography, and it's a real chaotic mess.
Yeah.
Where this, since you're supposed to be there, there's no cuts, right? It's all like one take, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, when your car goes to like another screen sometimes, and you're whipping around, you go to like another area of the ride, like you're on a track. You're not just going like this. There are some rides at Universal where you are just kind of watching a screen, and your base kind of moves around a little bit. But no, like Transformers and Spider-Man, you're on a track, you're on a coaster, and you're moving around and doing a lot of stuff with a 3D show.
That's cool.
But so what Harry Potter rides did you do when you went? Because I know Hagrid is fairly new. Did you do that one, like the motorbike coaster?
I don't think so. You might have to describe something, because the only two I remember vividly are the ride in Hogwarts, and then I did the Gringotts Bank escape one.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't remember if I did other rides.
Well, those are the two main ones. I think one is in Islands of Adventure. So Islands of Adventure has, I think it's Hogsmeade is their Harry Potter area. And then in Universal Studios, if you do the Harry Potter area, they have Diagon Alley. And speaking of, before I forget, have you had butterbeer, I'm assuming?
Of course.
Okay, because I know I've listened to you guys talk about like cream soda, like you guys worship it like two psychopaths. I mean, it's fine. But,
where my creamies at?
But I mean, one thing that's super creamy is that butterbeer. Like, what do you like it? And did you try the hot butterbeer too, or just the regular?
I'm typically a cold drink guy, but I think I have had both, and I prefer the more slushy one. I think
The frozen.
Frozen, yeah.
Oh,
I think.
I didn't even try that. It looked disgusting. That seemed like the worst option, and it was unanimous. Nobody wanted to try that.
But I mean, I'm also going to Florida, and it's hot out. I want a nice cold drink, and so that one's more appealing to me.
Well, okay.
That being said, it has been a long time, so I don't remember all that well. I remember going like, "This is good," but I think I probably wouldn't drink another one. It's just like either too sweet or
how I have it
just
in my
like
head.
too flavorful. It was one of those things where just like, oh, this is good, but I definitely don't want to keep ordering this all day.
It seems like the most delicious sounding thing in my brain, and I just have a feeling it would be something I'm addicted to.
Like the way she describes it in the books, it's like, wow, that sounds amazing.
Really thick and creamy, and it's like, I'm assuming butterscotchy or toffee.
It's the root beer float for magic people,
Yeah, it sounds great.
Well, I have to say, just two topics of my Universal trip into talking to with Steve. I think I had more of a good time than Steve did, because he's like butterbeer. I had like 13 of these things while I was there.
How much are they?
It was like $8.50 each. Yeah.
You spent $100 on butterbeer.
Listen, I spent a lot of money down there. I told my girlfriend, and this is the truth. This is how I am. Like, I'm good with saving money usually, But once I'm like in a position where I'm spending a lot, like on this trip, and I'm already down there, it's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck it, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just spending money. I'm already spending money. I know that makes no sense because
No. But that's what you do on vacation. Like, why am
yeah,
I pinching pennies now? I
yeah.
do that all year so I can do this. I'm going to go
And
nuts
this was a
now.
trip I prepaid for months in advance, so I
Mm-hmm.
already paid for it, so that wasn't hitting me. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just going, it was whatever. So yeah, I had tons of butterbeer, but I didn't have the slushy one. I had the regular one, and it is cold. Yeah, it's a cold drink. It's a cold, uh, like cream soda, butterscotch flavored cream soda, but the foam on it is so good.
Mm.
Like, yeah, I'm not even a soda person. I don't drink a lot of carbonated drinks. It's just not like my thing. But I had loved these. But the hot butterbeer is where it's at. Now, of course, you're not gonna have that outside. Most of the places that have butterbeer outside weren't selling the hot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was in like the restaurants. Like there's a Steve will know like the three broomsticks,
Yep.
and then they have I forget the other one, but
Is there anything special they serve there, or is it just like the Harry Potter burger and Voldemort
no,
fries?
it's like no. They had one of the ones we ate. I had like like chicken leg and like
Okay.
mashed potatoes. This is like real good. Like
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's usually pretty standard food, but they try and fit it to a theme. So, like, if you're going to this sort of like medievalish kind of world, like,
Okay.
yeah, they're going to give you like bread and potatoes and that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just fair food that they're just
but yeah,
repurposing. With
You're not going to get a funnel cake, I think, at
Okay.
a Harry Potter world.
yeah.
And it's probably called like flossy cake or something there, right?
Sure.
Yes, but so the hot butter beer, I got plenty of those too, but only when we were in like the restaurants mainly, and it's really good. I would describe it as kind of like hot chocolate consistency, frothy, just really, really butterscotchy and really sweet. And I don't think anyone in my group had that before, even though they had been there. They always just got the regular. So I got it, and I was letting them all try it, and then I was just like, "There's no going back, right? Like this is the best one." And some of them like, "Wow, I wish I hadn't tried the hot one." So if you go down there, have them both. It's nice and refreshing to have a cold one when you're out there in the heat or whatever. But like the hot ones are good. Don't. If you're only down there for a bit, get one at least once.
Yeah, I want to go to Universal badly, and I don't care about Harry Potter, but I'm going to the area just for that.
Gotta. Yeah. All right. Well, let me not talk about this place too much longer. I wanted to say with the Harry Potter rides, I really liked the Hogwarts one. It is like a virtual one, but like I would fly on my broomstick. You're not on a broomstick, but I'd follow Harry on his broomstick and fly around with this dude all day because it's like super fun. And he's just like, come this way, and you're flying around Hogwarts, and it's just like super fun, especially if you're a fan.
What age Daniel Radcliffe is it?
I want to. Both of these are.
It had to be after the movies were over because the park opened after. I think they probably like filmed it at the same time they were filming like the last two.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's around that age, Harry, but it's taking place during the Triwizard Tournament because like the dragon chases you.
Yeah.
Isn't that like 5 or
That's
something?
4. That's 4.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like you just have this like fire breathing dragon chasing you, which is like a dream I've always imagined. But it's so like on Harry Potter ride, it's great. But it's once you do it, you kind of done it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hogwarts one is fun. The Gringotts one is newer. Excuse me, is newer, but less fun in my opinion, and really short. It's fine, but I actually like the Hogwarts one better. But because before I move on from the Hogwarts one, that one you're not just in a cart. That one, and you're like, it's like 4 of you sitting side by side, and it really goes all over the place. Like it moves a lot. They have really good actual Dementors and stuff like coming at you, like good practical prop things in mixed in with all of the virtual stuff. So that ride's really good.
Yeah, it's almost like you're on like a crane.
It's really good,
thing, and as it's moving you around and stuff,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Gringotts one is just okay. I don't think you did the Hagrid one probably if you haven't been there in a while.
No.
Okay, so that one's fairly new. He rides like a motorcycle in the movies and stuff in the books, and it has like a sidecar. So that's what you ride in. So me and my girlfriend had to pick like I was like, no, I'm riding the bike. I'm doing the motorcycle. So and it's really fun, like riding on a semi roller coaster. It's not you don't go upside down or anything, but it goes really fast, and there's some barrel like twist and stuff, and it's really fun. But sitting like and holding handlebars like that instead of being like in a little cart is
Yeah.
it's really fun. It feels very different. So I really like that ride. But the line for that was always 2 hours the whole week we were down there because
It's the best roller coaster.
no, well, it's newer,
Yeah.
and I think because the actor, I forget his name, just died. The guy
Robbie
who played Hank.
Coltrane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think everyone wanted because there's like he's in the ride, like there's like
Mm.
animatronic version of him and stuff, and he's guiding you through like his voice, like all the rides at Universal are very cinematic. It's like it's like they wanted like you're in the movie. So anyway, I had a really good time, and I just wanted to talk to Steve a little bit about some of the rides.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go back, but after some of the most previous experiences with theme parks, I'm just so tired of lines.
Yep.
yeah.
And
Lines
but
are
I'm
pretty
also
good.
too petty to buy a fast pass. So it's like, no,
Yeah.
if we're gonna go, we're gonna wait in this line because God forbid I'm not gonna spend another $90 or $200.
I may have more fun if I
Yeah.
spend some more money, but
100%. It's like I already spent whatever amount of money to get in here.
Yeah.
We're gonna just do it the right way,
I'm
the
with
way
you,
God
Steve.
intended.
Yeah, there should be no fast pass. Everybody has the same wait time. I don't care if you're handicapped. I don't care if you're special needs. If you're a celebrity, everybody waits in line.
We're gonna have to cut all that.
I'm allowed to say special needs. So
By the way, fuck the military, all right?
yeah, why do they get a discount? They're off in another country. Like they're not spending money here. They're not helping our economy.
And a lot of times they just flash their veterans card and
Yeah.
that's it. So like they just want a military discount.
Yeah.
Or it could be just like their husband even and not
Oh,
them.
when the wives are like, you have to listen to me because I'm pretty much the same as my husband.
Right.
Like, no, you are not.
Maybe because there's only a few of them.
Who? A few of what? Military people from the country with the largest military budget? Yeah, we only got a couple guys.
I mean, they're so few and they're so proud.
Oh, you were making a joke.
I was trying to get to it and
Oh,
it
Steve.
failed.
Oh.
Cut all that.
Nope.
We can't use any of this anyway.
We're gonna get sued by Gormy. Gormy.
Oh,
Whenever I see the thing, it's like 1-800-GORMY.
dumb.
Yeah. I only watched one. Well, I watched a bunch of stuff, but it's all little and unimportant, and maybe for another time. But I watched Star Wars: Tales of the Jedi. 6 episodes of the horrendously ugly Clone Wars animation. You get 3 Ahsoka stories and 3 Dooku stories. And the Dooku shit is pretty good. Like, I give so much credit to Dave Filoni making all the prequel stuff seem more cool than it is. He's really kind of deep dive into things. And I think if you went back to when those came out, everybody still kind of thought like the Jedi are cool. But now he's really has fostered the narrative of the Jedi Council was like really kind of so stuck in their own ways, and the fall of all of it was really their fault that they couldn't see this evil thing right under their nose. And it just makes all the prequel stuff so much more interesting. So we get a little story of Dooku and like young what's his name? Qui-Gon. Liam Neeson looks just like him. They try to do a thing of like, oh, you've been a good Padawan, Qui-Gon Jinn, like at the end of the first episode. Like, yeah, we know who it is. There's no hiding this. That looks exactly like Liam Neeson. And it's an okay story, but it just really shows his pull to the dark side. And did you know that Dooku was still like part of the Jedi? He was never part of the council, but he was still involved with Jedi stuff during Phantom Menace. Like, I figured he had already left by then and been a bad guy, and because it's like they never call him like Master Dooku or anything. He's Count Dooku. So I always assumed he quit years ago and went back to like his aristocratic, family where he was a count, and that's just what they called him. But even when Qui-Gon came back from Tatooine, I could see your eyes like glazing over.
No. I was having a thought and I was like, how do I turn this? Like, I had a joke, but I'm not going to pass it.
But when Qui-Gon goes to the council, like, yeah, I think there's a Sith Lord, and they're all like, what? A Sith Lord? That hasn't happened in forever. Dooku was still like part of the Jedi world. He was like on Coruscant and stuff. So that's interesting. I never knew that.
Wait, what was he called before Count Dooku?
He's just Count Dooku.
Oh.
That's why he's just, or they just call him Dooku, just like you would say Obi-Wan. But maybe he just adopted the Count after. I don't remember if they actually do call him Count Dooku. But then he's Darth Tyrannus after, once he goes to the dark side. But they only use that like once, I think, in the movies.
Oh, did they actually say that name in
I
the
think
live
they do.
action movies?
Yeah, I don't remember that happening.
I
I
don't
mean, I
remember that.
believe you.
I mean,
I'm
maybe.
just saying I don't
I've heard of
remember.
that in like Star Wars lore. I knew that was like his name, but I don't remember
Yeah,
any
I
of
mean,
it.
maybe not. I thought they did because I kind of recall after seeing it being like, wait, there's a Count Dooku and a Darth Tyrannus. Was that the same dude? And but,
It's an interesting name, Tyrannus.
yeah, definitely cooler than Dooku.
Most
Uh,
definitely.
but do you know the character Yaddle?
I know the name.
It's
Yeah.
like the female Yoda
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we never in any of the movies you never know like what Yaddle was up to, what she sounded like. It is a woman, and you get to see the fate of Yaddle, and I'm gonna spoil it for you because I know you don't
Oh
care.
no! Please stop.
So like she doesn't talk like Yoda either. Yeah, I figured that's what the race sounds like, but apparently, and this may just have like become canon recently because I had never heard it before, that Yoda sounds like that because that's what all Jedi sounded like way back in the day, and he's just never grown out of it. And everybody else kind of evolved, language had evolved, and they don't sound like that anymore. So Yaddle doesn't do the weird sort of speech thing he does, which I thought was kind of cool. So probably Grogu won't speak like that either. I bet he'll never speak. But Yaddle sees that Count Dooku is having trouble with Qui-Gon being killed by Darth Maul because at that point he's working for Sidious, and he's just like motherfucker, did you really have to do that? I bet I could have turned him to our side. He was having the same sort of issues with the council being not corrupt but complacent, and in Palpatine, who looks awesome in this animated thing, like his arms are like extra long and don't see his eyes. He's really spooky, but he's just like, hey, we had to do what we had to do, whatever. And so Yaddle hears all this and just like, come on, Dooku, come back to the light. We'll deal with your crimes now. But this guy's trying to fuck shit up. And he's like, nope, Jedi suck. And they have a big old battle. And then he like closes a huge blast door on her and just like crushes her. I'm like, oh, damn, that was pretty cool. But then, of course, they have to walk it back. And, oh, the door starts to rise and she's using the Force, but it takes so much out of her and she pretty much almost dies, and then he like cuts her head off. You don't see it, but he just swipes her with the lightsaber. But it was like just let her get crushed. But but it's just like that's why I like Dave Filoni so much is like no one gave a shit about Yaddle, and within 20 minutes, Yaddle had like this whole arc and like a really fun ending and had something more to do in the bigger story. But yeah, watch episodes 2, 3, and 4 if you care that much about Star Wars. 1, 5, and 6 are not very good.
I feel like that's kind of Star Wars' main thing is like, we're going to give you a bunch of lore that may be confusing or you don't care about or is nonsensical, and you might hate it. But then 10, 20 years down the line, we're going to double down and give
Yeah.
you even more lore. And now that we have the hindsight and go like, okay, I know how to make this awesome because I spent 20 years thinking about it.
Yep.
And this is how we're going to give all these characters cool backstories.
So there's like a 13-year-old or 12-year-old who watched what was the last Star Wars movie? The Last Jedi. No, Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker. And he's going to love it. And in 20 years, that will be nostalgia for him. And he will be someone who makes sense of all that, and Star Wars will get cool again. And everyone will go, oh, yeah, you know what? That Last Jedi, that was a lot better than we gave it credit for. It's all going to happen again. I mean, I do like the original Star Wars the prequel trilogy, but they are very, very bad movies. There's just, it was like my high school days or my senior year when Phantom Menace came out. So a lot of good memories. Who wants to go next? Steve!
Well, I mean, I guess I do have something.
Yeah.
I played and beat Resident Evil 2 remake. Was kind of in a horror mood this past month in Halloween times, and I'm not a big horror guy, as I've said on this podcast many times. But I was like, you know what? Let me give some spooky games a try. So I did Blair Witch, and I talked about that.
You actually didn't talk about it.
Oh, I didn't talk about Blair Witch. Well, okay. Well, I played 2 games then. Blair Witch was pretty well done, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like a 5 or 6 hour long game, or maybe a little bit shorter. Um, and the first half wasn't great. Like it was like kind of creepy, but I mean, it's just like you walking around in the dark woods and you're trying to find this kid and you're finding these tapes that like there's a serial killer, and it's like I could see where this twist was going. But then like the end of the game, you go to like the house of where I guess the Blair Witch stays, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of going through the same like 2 levels of the house over and over and over
Mm.
again. But like you're walking into rooms and like there's people standing in the corner, and then you're hearing. I wore headphones the whole time. You had to wear
Mm.
with the headphones, and like all the like sound design in it is fantastic, and you're just like pretty much getting like all your main characters like backstory, and you're like going through his like past and stuff, and it's just like super super effective and super creepy. And the witch is like whispering in your ears and stuff, and you're not sure like what the fuck's happening. Like I thought this game was going to end like 10 minutes, like every 10 minutes I was like, this has to be the end, this has to be the end, and it just like kept going. I was like, how long am I in this house?
Mm-hmm.
And like it gets to a point where like, Jesus Christ, like I'm going insane. And they only so it like had a rough start, fantastic finish, except for the twist at the end. I was like, I know what this is, and I
Mm-hmm.
won't spoil it for you, even though I think you'll know what it is like
Okay.
20 minutes into playing the game,
Okay.
if you ever decide to. But yeah, you have to play with headphones. Sound design's awesome.
Do they
and
come over to your house and shoot you if you don't? Like, how? Why do you have to play it with headphones?
It's just the best, like, because this game, I think, in order to be effectively like creeped out and really get the best effect of it, it's like I had all the lights off and I had my headphones in, and it just because it recommends it at the beginning of the game, because I figure what it's called, like by audio or whatever. So like you have a dog that is like your companion who like will bark at the witches, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, who are like, and that's how you kind of fight them with your flashlight.
Okay.
But like
So there's a lot of audio clues.
yeah. So like if the dog's to the right, you'll hear it in your right ear.
What if you just got a good sound setup in your living room?
Oh,
Would that
I
be
mean, I'm sure
function-
that's great. I don't. So, and I don't think you do in particular. Do you?
Maybe I do, and I just don't bring it out for you.
Oh, fair enough. So if you all right, fine.
I
If
don't. I don't. I
if
really
you don't
don't.
have a good sound system that totally surrounds you, put on headphones, because it definitely is effective. And this game made me jump multiple times, and it was the first time a horror game has ever really done that. But also, I don't remember the last horror game I played other than like Dead Rising or something like that, which doesn't really
No,
count.
that's an action game.
I'm sure I have played other horror games, but I just don't remember.
Dawn or something like that, maybe.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh well, yeah, I played all the yeah. All those games that I really enjoy. I totally forgot.
Where every other week you kind of had a new one to review.
Yeah.
Do you get to see the Blair Witch?
If there's like an official one, no.
Okay.
There's like, because you're looking through a video camera at one point, and you can see it's kind of like got an infrared thing, and you see like these like creepy shaped things like standing out in the distance, and so like there's multiple of them. So I don't know if that's the Blair Witch or its subjects, or they're all Blair Witches. I don't know what the fuck a Blair Witch is, but but yeah, like I said, it's just a pretty effective use of like sound design and like creepy images that like genuinely they worked pretty well on me. But then I played Resident Evil 2, which goes a completely different direction, where it's not like first person. And
Blair Witch was first person.
yeah, like
Oh.
you're seeing it through your main character's eyes. But Resident Evil 2, I never played a Resident Evil game, never watched any of the movies, because they all look like dog shit, and
good
you guys
taste in movies.
I have good taste in movies.
Hey, I don't like any of the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
That's something you can not attest to me.
But I heard good things about this game, so I was like, all right, and it was cheap, and I got 2 and 3 in like a bundle pack or whatever. And 2 was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
This game also made me jump at times, especially when Tyrant would just like burst through a wall all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ, because it's so loud. I also play with headphones.
Okay, so could you hear him like stomping? Around?
Which was also pretty cool. But I hated when he showed up, because I'd be like trying to do something, and he would be in the room. I was like, all right, well, now I got to run back, go across here, wait till he comes over here, just to like juke past him and come back. But yeah, in terms of a survival game, it's so easy for me to like hoard ammo and like
Yes.
healing stuff in other games, where this one like you really can't.
Yeah.
And so like I was like constantly running low on stuff, and like it was very rare I ran out. But towards the end of the game, when I was like going to the final boss, like I had 0 health packs, and I was like facing the boss, and it was just like killing me in like one hit because I was already like in the red when I got to him. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to
Damn.
do? But I eventually found that, oh, there is 1 health pack, but like then it's like I had to use that and not get hit the rest of the
Wow,
game pretty
okay.
much.
And the zombies are like bullet sponges.
Oh my
It's
god, that drove me
Like,
insane.
I'm doing a fucking headshot.
I only did headshots.
Yeah, and that's why I love, Last of Us is you get them in the right spot and you drop them 1 bullet. Yeah. And this is just like, oh no, my brain is actually the size of a quarter and you got to like get it just right.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I shot someone in the head and it like burst instantly, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
But there's times where I put 12 shots into a zombie's head and it would just still go and get up at like 30 seconds later. I was like, God damn it. But it's just great, like when you think that they're dead and then you run out of that room and then you do some stuff and you come back like 20 minutes later and they're like at the door and it's like just really awesome. And you're just like, oh, God damn it, they got me again. So just a ton of fun. I mean, story-wise, I think it's a little silly, the amount of like, oh, well, you need a key to this room. Well, it's on the other side of this place. But that doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, well, we actually hidden little keypads in like 2 random spots, and it's like none of it. Like,
thank God I didn't work in this police station.
Yeah.
It's like I got to get into the employee locker room. Like, oh, did you solve the puzzle on the big statue outside? No, I just got to pee.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that's just like video game stuff to extend the time, but either way, I had a ton of fun. I haven't played the second playthrough as Claire, and I know she goes to an orphanage. And I was like, but you're doing the same levels over and over. It's like you have the same. It's like 6 levels, but there's 1 level that's different in each storyline. And it's like, I really want to go to that orphanage.
But you're not doing all the same stuff. It's not like I have to get the same crank for the same thing. You may get that crank, but use it on something else. So it's different enough.
Okay, I believe you.
And the orphanage stuff it's okay. It's short though.
Oh, okay.
And there's it's more of a stealth part.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
it's
maybe I'll just watch a YouTube video.
You're Sherry and you're hiding from someone and they have a flashlight and you're ducking under tables. It took me a few times because it just kept getting seen, but it's not anything crazy. But it is worth a second playthrough.
Gotcha. But yeah, I really cool, and I'm gonna start 3, and I heard 3 is pretty good, not as good as 2, but still solid. And I'll let you know how that goes. But I was pleasantly surprised because I was waiting for it to suck, and it didn't. The only thing the main thing I didn't like was I think Leon was just a little too Boy Scouty and like just
stay on the job.
And he just kind of I know that, but it just like it seemed just like how he looked and how he carried himself. It just seemed like, oh, this is how like. And his fucking name is Leon S. Kennedy, which I think is a dumb name. Don't ask me why. It just seemed like, oh, this is what like Japan thinks like an American hero looks like it is. Yeah. And so it's just like it just seemed like he was just pulled as like an archetype for like spunky kid who's gonna take it to the bad guys, and he did. But pretty creepy and fun and effective.
Cool. I don't have anything else, Nick. What else you got?
Well, I did start a game. I can't go in depth as much as Steve just did. Steve, have you played Resident Evil 4? Or are you gonna go through them? Because I know you said you got the 2-pack.
Well, yeah, I just have 2 and 3. 4 is
that's getting remade again.
Yeah, you might as well wait till the remake.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll only do the remake.
You're not gonna go pick up the GameCube copy?
No.
Bust out your old GameCube?
Well, no, I have it for PS4. They put it out on PS4. It's like a remaster, not a remake. I mean, it's still it's not super dated. Like it still plays really well.
Oh yeah.
4's my favorite. I haven't played the remake of 2. I played the original top down like.
It's not top down
or whatever. Like it's from like the side kind of. What do you call that control scheme?
It's tank controls.
Tank controls. That's what it is.
But I would say it doesn't have one specific view because sometimes you have like a low camera angle, a high camera angle.
It's like kind of like Silent Hill. It's similar. Yeah. I don't really like the second one that much now. Back when I played it original,
I loved. 2 was my favorite.
Have you played? But like, I can't do tank controls now.
Oh no, not now. Yeah, I wouldn't bust out an old PlayStation and play it. It would be
Or the
awful.
first, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, 4 is really good. Anyway, I started playing a game called the Hong Kong Massacre. It's like a indie game. I wanted to play it a while ago because it's I like that era of like movies, and it's just like I saw gameplay of it. It's a lot of slow motion gun shooting people and stuff, you know. But I never wanted to pay for it because it was like $15-$20, and I heard it's like not that great and it's really hard. Um, but I got it. It was like on sale for like $2 on Nintendo Shop, and I had like some credits too, so I got it for like 88 cents. I was like, okay, and I finally got to play it earlier, and I think it's like 30 levels, and each level it's not super long. You're just clearing a stage of like dudes that you're mowing down.
Is it just all shooting?
So far, it seems that
Okay.
way, and there's a little bit of story. It's like you're playing through a cop's getting interrogated. He goes like on a rampage after his partner gets murdered, and he's just taking revenge on all the criminals, whatever. But it's pretty fun. It's kind of hard, and the interesting thing is if you get hit once, you're dead. So far, at least. I don't know if I see that you can upgrade your weapons with different things and stuff. I don't know if you can get like body armor or not. But right now, it's like the enemies seem to be dying with one hit, and me too. So there's always that stakes. It's just a lot of like dying and learning where they all are, kind of.
You don't have to start over from the beginning though,
You
right?
do, yeah.
Like very, very beginning. If
Yeah,
you
but
die?
so far I mean, I've only taken out like 8 enemies and the thing's over. So they've been really short stages,
Okay.
but like it's a lot of like trying. I mean, I think they get longer and more complex, but excuse me. But I don't know, it's been pretty fun so far. I die a lot, but I still have a lot of fun just like slow-mo diving. It has really good like rumble, and like you can really feel the shots kind of because like so far you have dual pistols, and that's what you start the level with, but when you kill an enemy you can pick up their weapon, and I've seen like an assault rifle, and the shotgun's a lot of fun. The bullets really spray, so I've taken out like 2 or 3 people at once, and it's really satisfying, and just like slow-mo diving, and it's simple. And like I said, or I don't know if I said, it's like a top-down aiming.
Is it a twin stick?
Twin stick, yeah.
Yeah.
So takes some getting used to. I had to turn the stick aiming sensitivity all the way down.
Yeah.
But it does kind of auto lock a little bit, but it's not like super helpful. It's just like you got to be already kind of aiming on them. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. But like I just started it, so but couldn't beat 88 cents. And
Yeah. You can't be mad about any game that's 88 cents.
no. So I mean, as far as what I've been playing, I think that's it.
Okay.
Watching, I mean, I watched Wendell and Wild.
Yeah. Who makes this?
Who made it?
Yeah.
Or-
Is it like it's not the Wallace and Gromit people?
No, it is Henry.
It
it's
is
Henry Selick.
Henry Selick, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
a
his
shame.
first. It's his first movie since Coraline, which I really like. Coraline. I know that's not one of your favorites from Leica, but
Yeah.
I really love.
Probably
that
my
movie.
least favorite one.
That's crazy. It's probably my favorite.
But I've only seen it the one time.
Fair enough. I mean, and they're all great too.
Yeah.
So it's like comparing, like something great to
I think
something great.
I've seen all of them only one time except for Paranorman. Saw that a few times.
Paranorman's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, his first since that, but he directed Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously.
What you mean, Tim Burton?
Yeah. And it's like written also by like Jordan Peele. So, and he's in it, and as a voice, because obviously it's a stop motion animation movie. And it looks really good. Like, love that kind of animation. I'm not gonna like get into the story or anything, but it's good. I enjoyed it.
Well, give me a little synopsis. Should I?
It's like okay, well, it's like she's with her parents, and they're going like over a bridge, and like she's like eating an apple or some shit, and like little worms pop out of it, and it scares her, and she screams, and they get startled and go off and the bridge, and they die. And that's how the movie starts. They like
just from the scream of their daughter was enough to cause him to drive off.
well,
bridge?
it was like a rainy night too. It was really stormy, I think, and yeah, I don't know. She screams and startles him. He's like, what? And then they go off the bridge.
Maybe
and
he's like almost falling asleep, and it woke him up.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what happens.
Okay.
And they go down with the car, and she gets out, and then ends up being like an orphan and kind of a bad kid, yada yada, whatever.
I mean, is there a supernatural twist to this?
Yeah. She wants to bring them back to life.
Okay.
Jordan Peele, I forget. It's Wendell and Wild is his character, and Keegan Michael Key's character.
Okay.
So it's like you get a nice little Key and Peele kind of reunion because they're together the whole time. They're like two demons that are trying to Yeah, see, it gets really There's a lot of plot to this movie. It's like an
Okay.
hour and 40-some minutes, and
Okay.
it is not for kids. Like, it's PG-13.
Mm.
I know there was some cursing in it. I think there's a lot of suggestive stuff, and I
Okay.
can't remember what it all was, but there was many moments where I was watching. I was like, oh yeah, this is like pretty adult.
Cool.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, it's kind of like reminded me of Coraline in that like there, it feels kind of drawn out, but I don't even know. Coraline has this weird feeling that I like about that movie. It's kind of like isolated. You're just following her the whole time, and you're with Kat is the main character's name, Catherine. You're with her like most of the time. So I don't know. It's pretty good. It gets a little weird. I wouldn't say it's super funny. I didn't laugh a lot, but yeah, I really liked it. I liked it more. Think afterwards, reflecting on it, than I did while I was watching it. I think, and you can really appreciate that kind of animation too. I think. Just weird that one wouldn't go to theaters, and I see some of the other animated movies have gone to
Yeah.
theaters since post-COVID. I'm just really confused. Why would that
Yeah.
movie not go to
Lucky.
theaters?
Didn't Lucky go to theaters? That was like an Apple movie.
I don't know if that one went to theaters,
I thought it did.
but I don't know.
But
There's just been some random things in theaters, and this seems like one of them.
Paws of Fury.
Paws of Fury,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Legend
Paws
of
of- perfect
Jack
example.
or whatever. Hank, Legend of Hank. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect
Yeah,
example.
ugly ass movie. Why the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I would recommend Wendell and Wild though, definitely.
Cool. All right, I think that's all of our.
I just want
Or
to say one
weekly-
last thing about Resident Evil 2. Did it bother you when Ada shows up? She's in a trench coat and glasses because it's like that's the classic like I'm an FBI agent look, and I understand it's like oh I'm a mysterious woman. And I understand like that's the vibe you're putting out. But the second she showed up, I was like, bitch, it's like dark in this room, and you're wearing sunglasses, and it's dark outside, and she's wearing sunglasses. It was like. It drove me nuts. And maybe it's just a me thing, but the whole time I was just like, there's no reason for you to be wearing this. It bothered me.
Have you not come across Wesker
I was
at
just
all?
gonna say that. I was
It's
just
like
like-
Wesker is nothing but sunglasses.
Yeah, they both are similar. They both are like kind of like the cheesy, corny, like very 2000s-y, like I don't know,
Cool as fuck, hot as
Yeah.
fuck. I'm a spy. I'm a badass.
some cringy dialogue
Who?
sometimes. Wesker?
Yeah, Albert Wesker, blonde guy, slick hair. Is he even in?
No, he's not. He's not in two.
He's not in
Two's
two,
the one that
okay.
he's
No,
playing.
that's
There you
why.
go.
Okay.
He was like the main bad guy of one.
Or if he isn't two, it's like maybe towards the end storyline
I,
or something.
I swore
I
he
don't know.
was, but I guess not.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
You come across William Birkin?
yep.
Yeah, he's cool.
I mean, he's like the recurring
Yeah,
boss guy. Yeah.
yeah. Cool. I didn't know if he was just like a one person or another, villain. Because it's like I don't think you always fight the same people with who you start with. So I thought, like, since you played with Claire, maybe he only showed up on Leon. That's what I wasn't sure.
I mean, I just playing Leon. You see a video of him becoming the monster. That you
you
fight
played
with.
Leon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anything else you want to throw in about Resident Evil 2?
no, I just think sunglasses when it's dark outside is dumb.
I mean, maybe he's got pink eye and he's trying to keep it from spreading.
Or she's a big fan of that.
Corey Hart song.
Yeah. You get where I was going.
I knew what you're talking about. There's only like one song that has the word sunglasses in the title. So, all right. So we're going to talk about movies that have a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, but are some of our favorites or something that we don't see the justification of being such a low score. Because I think we could all agree critics are kind of stupid, and people like Siskel and Ebert are always held to such esteem, and I think it was just because the thumbs up, thumbs down, iconic, but they suck. They fucking had some of the worst thoughts, like they hated The Thing. I know The Thing was a big bomb at the time, but yeah, he really hated some great movies, and I'm glad they're dead. So let's talk about.
I don't support this.
So I don't know who wants to start. Does anybody have like one off the top of your head that you think is very good and unjustly low scored? Nick, it was your idea. Let's have you start us off.
Okay, so one that I think is very good, personally, but has a rotten score. That's okay. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the list.
That's how I described
Just making sure.
it. No, we're doing the opposite. High scores, but you hate it.
All
That'd be a
right.
lot easier.
Oh,
It's just
fuck.
because no, it's just because I have some on my list that's like saying very good. It's like I have movies on here that I don't think are very good movies, but
Okay.
I really
Well,
like.
let me give an example of two
Okay.
things. Like,
Okay.
okay, Hook. Hook is a good movie.
Yeah, Hook's on my list.
It's so much fun.
I love Hook.
It's a great idea, and it has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Crazy.
Insane. And
Love Hook.
That's a Spielberg movie.
exactly. And a
Exactly.
Robin Williams
Dustin
movie.
Hoffman.
But it is at least 76% audience score, so at least we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that we're gonna have a lot on our list that are like that. But I'm really interested in the ones that are like rotten both ways. Like
Yeah.
everybody hates them, but us. Like, we really like
yeah,
them.
I definitely have some of those.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of like a low score, but it is a good movie.
Yes.
And then one that I think it's a low score and it's justified, but it's still one of my favorites is
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. This is the lowest score on my list at 4%.
Oof.
With a 24% audience score. Bad movie, yes. Everybody knows it's a bad movie,
Yes.
but it's a lot of fun.
Good. There's good fights in that movie, and I think the soundtrack is almost as good as the first movie soundtrack. But there's a lot of bad stuff.
Bad
in that movie.
effects. And I give them props for trying to put as much in. Like, yeah, we want animalities. We want every character. Let's fucking do it. Even like, Ermac's in it for like 2 seconds before he dies. Like they really said, let's go bigger.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the budget for it. But
No.
I've seen that movie more than any other Mortal Kombat movie. I just love it. Saw it twice in theaters.
I love the fight on the ice with Sub-Zero's brother. Is that who?
Yeah, it was his brother, but he's
Yeah.
a good guy now. And
Yeah.
he's there to solve the mystery of his dead brother and then disappears for the rest of the movie. Never shows up again.
Yeah, it's a bad movie, but there's some fun to be had.
Yeah,
so
Cyrax is second.
it's not on my list, but like it could have been.
Yeah.
I feel you.
All right, so give me a movie that is you think unjustly on this list.
Well, again, I did say Hook was on mine as
Mhm.
well, so sorry, Steve. I know you don't have a lot, but if you had Hook on there, that's us.
I didn't. You're fine.
This crosses out another one.
Okay. Man, that's one I need to check the score of again. But all right, I'll start off with Rain of Fire.
Oh yeah, that was on my list.
I love.
You
Rain
need
of Fire.
the score for this one?
Not for Rain of
Okay.
Fire. No. Then my next choice I'm going to look up.
Okay.
Because I only have them on here, but I didn't list the percentages. But yeah, Rain of Fire. I love that movie. What a great opening too. Like I love the opening of that movie, especially when it goes into just showing you like broadcasts and articles and stuff
Mhm.
about the dragons taking over. I mean, it's just there's not a lot of dragon movies and
That are dragon specific. They seem to be part of bigger stories.
Yeah, like there's like Aragon and there's like the Dragonheart movies, which I think most of them are bad.
But I think we associate dragons with like Harry Potter and Game of Thrones.
And I think people kind of forget about because there's like a renaissance of dragons now. I feel like because of those shows, and I think I often bring up Rain of Fire to people, and not a lot of people remember this movie. I rented this thing on VHS from the movie rental store a couple times. I liked it that much. I didn't see this one in theaters. But I like that brag though because there's so many times that I'm talking to people that I have to slip in there like saw this in theaters because I just like they'll be impressed like they give a shit, but I have to say,
but it ages me and it's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing this
I don't even care.
as a kid, and I had to rent it. And I was like, man, I saw that in theaters. But I was impressed with this movie leaving it. It was like, wow, I can't believe how good that was. And like Matthew McConaughey in a role that he wasn't known for being like a badass. And
badass villain.
Gerard Butler and Christian Bale before anybody who knew who they really were.
Yeah. And the dragons look awesome.
And
they're like
scary
menacing dragons. Yeah.
And I like the idea of like, well, they don't burn just because they're dicks. Like they like roll around in the ash and they eat the ash.
They eat the ash. And they feed on the ash, and that's why they have like endless food supply. And they'll come burn all the like we're still trying to grow some crops in our little like the little cities that we've built, But one thing I really like about that movie is the scenes with I think they're called like archangels or whatever. I don't know. It's been a little bit since I watched it, but the parajumpers that kind of try to take on they're like almost kamikazes. It's like they're gonna die. You're not taking on a dragon, but you do what you got to do because you're trying to stop the dragon from destroying your crops. Whatever you got to eat. So I mean, there might have been more to it, but
Well, I mean, they just want to eradicate them in general.
yeah. But those scenes I think are pretty well done, especially
Mhm.
for the time. Was it like 2003, 2?
Yeah,
It's
something
pretty
like-
old.
It's old, but it still looks really good.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
And it was one of the first Dragons movies I ever saw, because everybody would always like breathe fire, where it's like big breath of lung, and then just the fire, where you actually saw the two chemicals like spraying together, and that creates fire.
Yeah, there's
just really unique.
There's like one really good shot in that movie where you can really see the size of the dragon. It's like shooting the flames down on them. And I really like that opening again. I wanted to go back to that because it's like you're seeing when they wake up the dragon. It's like that's when they woke up the first dragon, and that's because the dragons were like sleeping in the earth. I think that's a cool idea too. Like
they
like
came, they burned it, and then went to bed.
Yeah, there's these mythical creatures that we didn't come up with out of nowhere. They came from somewhere, and I don't know. It's a little far fetched, but it's done very seriously. There's no humor in this movie. It's very serious, apocalyptic. Like it's really good. And there's a game. I had the PS2 game for it, and it's not a very good game.
No, it's not. I do remember playing that. Yeah,
but it's like you're in a vehicle the whole time, and you're shooting them. Kind of, you could play as a dragon. I think actually.
Yeah,
I think you could. Yeah.
But it wasn't that fun. It was kind of.
But that seems like such a perfect movie to make into a game, and you can have the driving and shooting, and the falling out of the sky, and just like running and ducking behind rocks, and there's a lot of like
missed
potential
opportunities for sure. It's not the worst game ever. I just remember playing that game, and I didn't play a lot of movie games, so I just like that movie that much. And I remember it had the PS2 game had a really good cover, and I remember seeing it in GameStop one day. I think I traded in like probably 12 great games to get Rain of Fire.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Cool. Steve, you got one? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is kind of a 3-pack.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3.
One is rotten.
One is rotten.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first one is sitting at 41%, and it has a positive audience score. Secret of the Use has a 35%, but it has a positive audience score. The third one has a 19% and has a rotten score.
Yeah.
And the third one is definitely the
Not
worst.
very
It is
good,
a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I only enjoy it because that was part of my youth. But I will argue that 1 and 2 are solid. 2 definitely,
Especially one.
2's got some hokey. I mean,
they kitty it up.
Yeah, they kitty it up. They make it more kid friendly.
No weapons.
They throw this like dark ass super shredder at you. But the rest of it,
the Vanilla Ice dance sequence. But Toka and Razor are kind of cool, and I just wish like it wasn't another turtle monster.
Yeah, I still don't understand why I get it. Like if they said we're doing 4 snapping turtles, so it was turtle versus turtle, okay, that makes sense. If you're doing 4 different types of turtles, this is a sea turtle and they all brought something to the table, that makes sense. But why one wolf and a turtle? You think they'd use something else besides another reptile? Make it a frog, a poison frog, or a bird or something.
They just had like a 5th backup turtle suit. And they're like, we can like kind of morph this enough to look like something
Hook
else.
the nose, throw some spikes.
Yeah, but there's some solid comedy in the second one, and some solid action sequences. So the second one's fun. But the first one is just a great film hidden in a movie that the studio didn't want to pay a ton of money for.
Yeah. And it was like a kid's property, but
Yeah.
they're like, well, we don't have to pander to kids.
Yeah, because the original source material for Ninja Turtles is actually like pretty dark and violent stuff, so it wasn't necessarily for kids anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like the gross, dirty city of New York City in like the late 80s, I guess, is when they filmed this. And shout out to young Sam Rockwell in it. It's one of his first roles.
Yep.
But
Didn't know that he was in there.
Yeah. When at the end, when they're just like, oh, where can we find the Foot Clan headquarters? And like, it's at Eastman and Laird. That's Sam Rockwell.
Okay.
Oh wait, no.
I see it.
Sam Rockwell was in the.
No,
he was in
first
one.
It's
Who
in
was
the
in the
first
second one. Did he show up in the second one too?
No.
Doesn't matter. Anyway.
Ernie Ray Jr. is that's his name, right? Ernie Ray Jr. was the pizza delivery kid.
Oh yeah, but I'm not talking about him. Oh yeah. But anyway, just there's some fun action sequences. This is the first time like major audiences got to know these 4 cowabunga loving pizza eating turtles.
I love cowabungas.
Yep. Casey Jones, played by classic character actor Elias
Koteas.
if I say his name correctly.
Yep.
We get some great raft stuff in this, and just like him on that rooftop fighting all the foot ninjas, but then they like beat him senseless, and they have to like go into hiding in the farm, and he's in healing, and they're all like battling with Splinter being taken, and like Shredder's torturing Splinter, like
And some crying at the camp.
Yeah, and they're just using like ninja magic to talk to him through the flames. It's a movie that shouldn't really work, because it's like, who thought like, oh, we're just gonna put 4 guys in giant animatronic turtle outfits and they're gonna do kung fu. It's like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yep.
But it's actually a really like awesome, dark, perfect, great, like it was on the cusp of greatness, and it's just a really good movie, very classic, and I mean, they really launched this franchise, and it's just a movie close to my childhood heart, and I would argue that it's actually a pretty solid film.
Yeah, and I could see critics giving it bad scores because they're like, oh, this is a kid's thing based off of a silly cartoon, and it was a lot darker, so that instantly goes into on the negative side. And I could see them saying, this is a well-made movie, but it's not for kids, therefore it gets like a thumbs down.
It definitely like rides a weird tonal line of just like, it used to have Mikey doing like jokes and stuff, but I mean, there is like rival street gangs, and kids are like stealing and committing major crimes and everything, but it just it's awesome. And that final fight on the rooftop with Shredder, and he's so badass, and the music's like really awesome at that point, and Casey Jones just kills that guy.
Yeah,
well, he doesn't, but I know in the second one.
He's trying to.
Oops.
Yeah, he crushes that dude.
Yeah.
In kids' movies, it's, the bad guy falls off of a thing and he's dead. Falls into the mist. You don't see them hit or whatever. But this was pretty heavy for a kids' movie. And I was a kid when I saw this, and it affected me. It's like, they fucking squished Shredder.
Yeah.
See his helmet get crushed.
Awesome stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so one of mine, and I can't believe it, I just looked it up on a whim because I wanted to see what it was rated. One of my favorite movies of all time. I mentioned it being my favorite fantasy movie of all time, but Willow. Willow has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% audience score. I find that insane. 52%.
Oh, I thought you said 82.
Oh, maybe I did. 52 for tomato score, 79 audience score. Especially for something that's getting a show reboot. Like, why would they greenlight it if it's such a bad thing? I really would like to see the reviews where this comes from, because what's bad about Willow? There's nothing wrong with it. It's funny and it's fun and it's got good effects for the time. I can't see why anybody would give it a negative review. Just doesn't make any sense. And I know you haven't seen it, but
No, I've seen Willow.
But it's been a while.
But it has been a while. I can only imagine that at the time it didn't get great reviews, just because I think fantasy in general just never did well, and then you also had to compete with it might have solid special effects of the time, but were they really enrapturing you in the experience in ways that
that movie invented morphing effects. It was a George Lucas joint directed by what's his name, the ginger director,
Ron Howard,
directed by Ron Howard, written by George Lucas. You'd think it's a surefire hit, and I mean it did well, but not by scores, and that's crazy. Willow's great. Nick, what do you got?
Well, I'm going through my list, and I'm like, we'll be here all night if I spend time on.
Sure, but if you have I have 4 comedies that I could mention all at the same time.
Okay. Well, I'll figure out how. My next one is 30 Days of Night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I did just double check, because I was like, I wouldn't have put it on this list if it wasn't rotten. Because I remember doing it, but I needed to see what the percentage was. It is a 51.
Sure.
So it's not like it's a shutout terrible movie in critics' eyes, but I really like this movie. I remember seeing this in theaters with my dad. That's all we ever did was go see movies. So sometimes we'd see stuff because we didn't have much else to do. I saw movies in theaters like The American, George Clooney. There was nothing else playing, and we went and saw that movie. So random. Anyway, we went and saw this. I don't know what he expected. I kind of knew what I was getting into, but man, what a brutal vampire movie.
Yeah.
I love that aerial shot, just watching of the town under
Mhm,
siege by the
mhm.
vampires when they finally decide to attack. Some brutal stuff in there. Scary, awesome looking vampires. Really
Mhm.
good lines of dialogue. It's you. I didn't know when I originally saw it that it was a graphic novel.
Mhm.
I totally see that now. Yeah, it's a great vampire movie.
Yep,
I love it.
good director. I mean, I know he got kind of roped in, and he did like 2 or 3 of the Twilight movies.
Mm.
But David Slade, I think is his name. He did
Oh.
Hard Candy.
Oh.
It's good. I wish he really kind of rose up, but he seems to be doing like more TV stuff now.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And I know I haven't watched all the episodes you guys have done, but I do remember hearing Steve say at one point something about Josh Hartnett, like, where is that guy? Like, and I totally feel that, and he's great. He's great in this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, 30 Days a Night.
And Ben Foster always shows
yeah.
up and just gives a great performance.
Absolutely.
And that grinder scene is
Yeah.
the thing that stands out the most to me because
Mm.
like they hit him with an axe a bunch of times and it's so realistic.
Yeah.
Like it took me back when I first saw it because it looked just so real.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yep.
Steve?
I think I mentioned this movie before on here. It's probably, if it's not my top 3, it's definitely in top 5 comedy movies of all time. But Tommy Boy is,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
yeah, sitting at 41%. I don't know if I've ever really met someone who didn't like Tommy Boy who's watched it. It's just infinitely quotable. Chris Farley at the height of Chris Farley and David Spade. Black Sheep's also very funny. But Tommy Boy is just one of those movies that just, I think, does everything right. And it's like perfectly paced and consistently made me laugh. And I've seen it at least 10 times. And they're both just at their peak comedy performance wise, and I'll probably watch this movie until I die. It's great, and I miss Chris Farley, and I wish he didn't die because I would have liked to have seen what the world would have been like. I don't care about him being Shrek, because he was the first pick, but.
Hey, maybe we would have been saved all these Shrek sequels and we would have just gotten one shitty Shrek movie and then been done with it.
Maybe. But yeah, I don't really see what critics thought was so bad about it because other than like the deer scene, there isn't anything like super ridiculous about it. And I think Chris Farley plays both. Like I think given a few more years, you would have seen what so many other comedy actors have done and gone into the dramatic world because like him at his dad's funeral and like him kind of becoming his own man like later in the film, like all really like he was a great actor who just did comedy movies. So I think we could have seen in the future like Chris Farley like really bring on some like heart-wrenching dramatic performances that probably could have blown people away, but sadly he just went out too young. And I think David Spade would have just always stayed David Spade.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Chris Farley's great, and this movie is also great.
Yeah, I agree.
I also like
Tommy Boy, yeah. I mean the whole, white mud, I said crud scene is my favorite. So I got there's kind of a theme in here. There's like weird horror movies, comedies, and action movies are kind of like the main thing on here. But here is some comedies that I'm very surprised are on here. Like Grandma's Boy. I see why people wouldn't like it, but that is like the only funny Happy Madison movie, in my opinion. Ace Ventura. We were just watching it last night. Ace Ventura is rotten. So you're saying critics walked out of that movie, and you could walk out and say that was a dumb fucking movie, but you probably laughed the whole time. I can't see you not laughing at one of the jokes in that movie. Rotten, crazy. Spaceballs, Step Brothers.
I have Spaceballs on mine.
Yeah, Spaceballs like
so funny.
Was it sacrilegious to shit on Star Wars that early? Because
there's just some really good typical Mel Brooks
Mel Brooks is
corny but funny jokes. I love that the chest burster like dancing
Hello,
on the counter.
My baby.
It's so funny.
Step Brothers. I kind of understand that. When I first saw Step Brothers, I was like, that wasn't very funny.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like that much the first time.
It's just like, it's dumb humor, and it wasn't till a second viewing.
Same.
maybe much like the critics who wrote those reviews
Maybe,
when they
yeah,
first saw
sure.
something.
But there's some good comedies on here, like Drop Dead Gorgeous. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that?
I don't
Nah.
think so.
I said nah for many, many years. My sister kept bugging me to watch it. It's like, no, that's a dumb girl comedy, and girls don't know what funny is. So, but it is really, really good, especially if you like what's her fucking name? You love her from Starship Troopers, Denise Richards.
Denise Richards.
She's excellent. She's a really good comedic performer. Wet Hot American Summer.
That was on my list.
How is that a rotten score? And so my favorite comedy that's on here, Kung Pao. Okay, I get it. I understand why it would be on this list, but that is a funny fucking movie. For a month straight, that was what we watched every single day. The cow scene's pretty stupid. That one doesn't hold up, but everything else is still very funny. But it's like there's very specific humor on here. And one last for my comedy is Josie and the Pussycats. I don't know. Have you seen Josie and the Pussycats?
No, but something tells me that the critics weren't wrong on that one.
and okay, maybe I could see it. But I'm putting it on the list to make me watch because it is a legit funny movie and one of the best performances comedic performance by Alan Cumming and Parker Posey. Just good. And Rosario Dawson's it's like one of her first roles. She's really good in it. But it's a very unique niche comedy things don't do super well for Rotten Tomatoes. Nick?
Well, you were just on that topic of comedies,
Mhm.
and I was looking through my list, and I only think I have like one other comedy. I had Tommy Boy on there, and some that were mentioned. But you didn't mention it. That was all your comedies, you think, on your list?
Yes. Oh well, I know. Actually, I have two more, but I don't think I necessarily like MacGruber. I get it. I love MacGruber. It's really funny. And
Will Forte's funny.
Hot Rod.
That's what I was gonna say.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Let him talk.
Do it.
Well, I wasn't gonna talk about it. I was just gonna. I was gonna say my next movie, but I was just gonna say you on your comedies.
Yeah, like
You didn't say Hot Rod.
Hot Rod
That movie
is rotten,
really
but
funny.
Pop Star is fresh. And I know
Hot
it
Rod
tanked. I think I like Hot Rod more. Actually, that's
hard.
tough. Yeah,
I'd say that they're about equal for me.
Okay.
because there's a lot of rapid fire jokes in Pop Star of just like
Yeah.
the names of songs, and all the songs are very creative. The Not Gay song is so funny.
Yeah, I think Hot Rod's a more interesting movie in the sense that like it's more there really is like a story there
Yeah.
and like real character arcs
Mhm.
and but I think it lacks the rapid fire jokes of Pop Star,
Yeah.
so you get more out of Pop
Yeah.
Star. But
And also they weren't as big as they were
yeah.
when Pop Star came out. They were kind of a known entity. When Hot Rod came out, they were still, SNL nobodies.
And there's
Yeah.
there's a couple jokes in Hot Rod that are kind of just like, all right, this is a little too dumb.
Sure.
Where
Beans.
yeah, exactly.
I love Cool Beans.
Cool Beans not funny.
Like imagine being like a 40-year-old movie critic and you watch that scene, you're like, what the fuck is this? So I don't blame them for that rating.
Yeah.
Where like Pop Star is just like so many funny jokes so quick. It's like the fact that wasn't a hit like blew my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the Cool Bean stuff, which is cool. It's cringy, but like, and I know now that I know that it's coming, I don't laugh as hard. But the first time I saw him like fall down the hill, and that movie was just crying, laughing.
Yeah.
And then first time I saw him like camera pulls out and he's nowhere near the motorcycle during the jump,
Oh,
and then dead. Like
I like
so funny.
the joke of like, you look real pretty. What? I said you look shitty.
Yeah, there's good stuff. I mean, I don't know what the score is. I'm sure it's not like a terrible Rotten Tomato score, but
For Hot Rod?
yeah, what is it?
39 for tomato and 64 for
That's
audience.
pretty rough.
Yeah.
I really like that movie, but I could also see it not being.
Mhm.
Fair. Anyway, I wasn't going to talk about Hot Rod. That's not my choice. Give me my
Nope, we're
time.
skipping.
My next one, I've definitely said this around. I think I'm gonna have a few that Ben is just like, of course. But that is 1998's Lost in Space.
Oh, okay.
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
It has like a 20-something%. But honestly, the only thing I don't like about this movie is like the CGI on like some of the spiders and that little monkey thing. I forget its name. It's a little rough.
Gleeboo?
Sure. I love the movie and I don't remember its name. But I love that movie. Like that movie has like time travel, good sci-fi, good
Mm-hmm.
spaceship stuff. It's well acted. Everyone's taking it very seriously. I don't compare it to the original show at all because I never watched that show. It's way before my time. I do have a lot of nostalgia with this. I was like 7 when this movie came out, and I also had like appendicitis around the time this movie came
Mm-hmm.
out, and I was in the hospital, and we had just seen this movie, and I loved it. So when I woke up from my surgery, I had a bunch of Lost in Space toys around me,
Nice,
and
nice.
so I grew up with a lot of like figures from this random ass movie, but
There's no Long John Silvers around here, are there?
I don't
There,
think so, but I've heard of
there
that place.
used to be.
Okay.
I think it's
Because
closed
they
now.
did the Lost in Space like Happy Meal
Oh
tie-ins,
wow.
and they had the Doctor transformed into the spider. His like body was plush, but his arms and head were like hard plastic. It was the ugliest
Huh.
toy, but they also had the little monkey guy. His name was Blarp.
Blarp, that totally
Yeah.
sounds right. What's the girl who plays Penny? I know she's in like Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Lacey
Chabert.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I know. What I remember seeing that and just like, damn, that's the Party of Five girl. She grown up.
I love her in that movie. That was like early, like
What year was that?
98.
98. Yeah, I was 17, and she was probably also 17. Not cutting it.
Well,
Original Meg was hot.
I was a lot younger. I don't know. Like I said, I was like 7, but even I remember thinking, something's
Oh, yeah.
like I like what I see.
Something's happening now.
Something's going on down there. I don't know. I really like that movie. It's a little long, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's very like 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. You know, those movies have a very specific look to them.
Who was the mom?
The actress?
Yeah, was it Laura Linney? No, who was
No,
it?
no.
I never saw it.
I don't know her name.
I can't remember.
I don't know her.
I know
She's
like John Hurt was the and
William Hurt.
William Hurt, yeah.
And Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
And then
I
Matt
think
LeBlanc.
yeah,
this was
man,
like
when that helmet came over,
so cool.
that was the coolest fucking
Yeah,
thing.
I had his toy with his little shotgun blaster that he puts together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got some cool stuff. I love the time travel thing, and it's like the sun, and they've been on the planet that I don't know. It's just very good, very 90s.
It's unique. It could have been a lot more generic and boring, and they went
Yeah.
big concept.
And I would accept a rotten overall score, but this is the first movie so far that I've said that I want to say like absolutely does not deserve a 20-something%.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I mean, I understand how Rotten Tomatoes works. 20% of critics said it was positive. It's not saying it's a 2 out of 10,
Yeah.
whatever. I get that, but you just see like that's really that many people didn't like it,
Mhm.
critically. So, yeah, it's not a critics cut movie. It's
Nope.
it's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
That's all.
It was
I
the
love
movie that knocked Titanic off the
Right?
billboard.
That's a
Yeah.
fun fact. Yeah.
Mimi Rogers was the mom, by the way.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, Mimi Rogers. Yeah,
Heather Graham is in it as well.
yeah. It's funny though. You look at Lacey Chabert, like, oh wow, what a cutie. But then you have fucking Heather Graham is there too.
But something about her Penny in that movie,
Yeah.
did it for me.
It was the bodysuit.
Oof. Oh, the robot's really cool too. I had a
Yeah.
toy of the robot.
Yeah.
The very updated version of the robot from the show.
Yeah.
They went cool with it.
Did you watch the Netflix show at all?
I started it, but I never finished it. I
Nah,
didn't really love it.
I didn't care for it either.
Yeah.
I like Parker Posey, and she's good in it, but yeah, not for me. They make a lot of dumb decisions where it's like, we need to get this special ore to the ship in the next 10 minutes or we're all gonna die. But then someone falls off the transport and like, we gotta go back and save them. And then they do, and then that person ends up like dying anyways, and they ruin the mission. Like, what a dumb family. Why would I ever care if you guys got off this planet? All right, Steve?
So my next pick is something that's only 1% off of being not rotten
Mhm.
or fresh. Yeah, thank you. And it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. And that is A Knight's Tale.
Oh.
It's sitting
I
at
had that on my list.
sitting at 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is pretty much a perfect film. I can only see that critics didn't like it because they didn't kind of get it when it came out in terms of just like, having like modern day songs in the middle of this like medieval times kind of thing. But just fantastic performances all the way through. Like everyone is just super funny and charming, and it's
Didn't kind of introduce us to Paul Bettany too.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany as William Chaucer. Yeah,
He's
Chaucer.
gonna 110%.
110%. Yeah, like his speeches to the crowd to hype them up for Heath Ledger's character were great, and just really like kind of the heart of that film, and just like really awesome jousting sequences, and like there's no movie that I think is just so easily like fun and pleasant to watch than A Knight's Tale. And I think there's a reason that for the past like 20 years it's been on like repeat every week on like TNT and everything like that. You can probably always find this movie on at least once a week on basic cable. And it's just infinitely rewatchable. Like anytime it comes on, no matter what point in the movie it's on, I was like, okay, I'll watch this. And yeah, it's great. And if you like Heath Ledger, it's one of his better movies that like, it's not Brokeback Mountain, it's not The Joker, it's not these like Oscar-winning performances, but he's fantastic in it. And he didn't get a lot of like heartthrob roles, and this was certainly like one of those. But yeah,
which is weird.
Shannon Sossaman.
But yeah,
I was never a Shannon Sossaman fan.
This movie did it for me in this movie.
But yeah, just such a joy to watch, and I know it's on that like cusp of being fresh or whatever, but it deserves probably like at least an 80% because it's infinitely fun. And I've never met anyone who hasn't seen it who's gone like, oh yeah, that movie's great.
Never seen it, so
I really like that movie, Steve.
and it was one of those movies that when it came out, like, oh, that's something my sister likes. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you being you at the stage in your life, I think you would watch and go like, yeah, that was fine, but yeah, I don't know, it's perfect.
Okay. Well, speaking of movies that whenever it's on, you just have to watch it, Broken Arrow. It's got a 54% Rotten Tomatoes, 44% audience score. Like, critics like this more than the audience. That's crazy. John Travolta and Christian Slater having a nuke fight. It's tons of fun. All the action set pieces are good. We get to see John Travolta as a bad guy for the very first time. It was when he was having his resurgence after Pulp Fiction. It's who directed it? Is it John Woo?
Yeah, it's one of John Woo's first American outings.
Yes, and it's just another one I saw in theaters, and so I was probably very impressionable 13-year-old or whatever when it came out. But anytime this is on TV, like I don't care what I'm watching before, I'm gonna watch Broken Arrow. Cool effects of like nukes going off underground, and yeah, and then John Travolta gets impaled by a nuclear bomb at the end. It's great.
Yeah, good death.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of John Woo's Hollywood stuff, but Broken Arrow and like Face Off are two exceptions. I do like Face Off way more than Broken Arrow, but John Travolta is just having a ball with this movie. I mean,
God damn.
Yeah, he's just so, and the way the camera work. I mean, it's John Woo. Like he has a way of shooting action that sometimes can be kind of cartoony almost.
Sure.
Feeling. I think it works in some of his Hong Kong stuff, but I think it works in this movie and Face Off. I mean, Face Off. Some of the dialogue and stuff in that movie is just hilarious.
Yeah,
like, Nick Cage is going.
Nick Cage is just hamming it
John
up.
Travolta again, just going crazy. But anyway, not talking about Face Off. Broken Arrow.
That's probably rotten, right? Face Off is probably on there.
Yeah, if Face Off is not fresh, throw that on my list right now. I won't talk about it again, but that movie rules.
Yeah, and they're still talking about like trying to make a sequel or whatever.
Why?
I think one, they're both too old.
Yeah.
Who cares about and you know what, they would do the Face Off and they trade faces, but then you would ask yourself like why they didn't give them a facelift while doing it? Like why would you trade two wrinkly old man faces? So if you're gonna do that again, you need to just redo it. It can be in the same universe.
I figured they'd do another movie, but I didn't think it would be them changing faces again. Why would they change faces again?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, and one of them's dead, right? So yeah, you kind of.
Why are they doing another Face Off?
Yeah, would it be John Travolta trading a face with another person? And then that's a hard movie to like root for people because John Travolta's the good guy, then he's the bad guy for most of it, then he comes and is the good guy at the end, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's right, but I just saw you do a bunch of bad guy stuff. So.
Yeah.
And they had that dumb face thing with his daughter, and they would like drag their hands over their face.
Oh yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, there's some bad stuff in Face Off.
Do you guys want to take a guess at the score of Face Off?
62.
47.
Oh, you think it's rotten?
Yeah.
I think it's fresh.
It's 92%.
Oh, damn!
Face Off has a 92.
And an audience score of 82.
That movie rules.
Yeah,
Like,
it
Face Off
does.
rules.
I mean, it was a huge hit when it came out. It
Yeah.
was a very unique thing.
We started with Broken Arrow now. Of course we're going to talk about Face Off. Like, this is all the bad movies, but you get us talking about a good movie.
Yeah.
Of course we're going to go crazy because it's a great movie. But Broken Arrow's a lot of fun. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Ben.
What do you got?
Oh. Man, I'm just looking at them like, I'm just pissed looking at some of these. I'm like, how are these on this list? Jumanji. How is the original Jumanji?
I don't know.
rotten? I fucking love Jumanji.
Special effects like extravaganza
It's
back in the day.
good, and it's got like it's got some good dark like very serious moments in it. It's a really cool idea, I think.
Yeah, all the new Jumanjis, they're fresh, but this original
Yeah.
Jumanji is considered rotten.
And I don't hate those movies; they're not for me.
Yeah.
But if someone was like, "I like those movies," I might be like, "Oh, you're crazy." It's just not for me. But man, I love the original Jumanji.
Yeah.
You know,
I know you're big on the spiders, the poisonous
And that
spiders.
lion.
There's some real scary stuff in that movie.
Yeah.
the lion in that movie is horrifying. Like on the piano, so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the effects are still pretty decent. Even the CGI shots look okay.
I think the stampede going over the cop car
Yeah.
is the most dated thing, but
It looks okay.
the animatronics still look really good.
Oh, absolutely. I love the big flower
Mhm.
thing. Yeah.
Monkey Boy.
Yeah, and the monsoon stuff inside the house, like it gets real crazy in there. And yeah, I really, really, really like Jumanji.
And
I like the cartoon too. There's a cartoon show that was on when I was younger. That to me is better than the new ones.
It makes sense that we're doing so many reboots and sequels of old things from the 80s and 90s because they didn't know how to capitalize on stuff like, oh, Jumanji, huge hit, make lots of money. Cool. On to the next thing. Like now everything is, we're signed on for 5 pictures because we know we're going to do at least 3 of these and a spinoff. Like everything is way more calculated than it used to be. Why didn't they capitalize on the board game comes to life? And it's like, sure, we had our Zathura, but there's lots of other climates we could be, you know, the desert in Antarctica and, you know, Pompeii, tons of stuff. The potential for this is just completely wasted.
I always said, and I agree with that. I always said that I would have liked to have seen a sequel to the original Jumanji, where someone just finds the game again, and it could be in modern times.
Yeah,
and just like the Star Wars movies, like with the prequels, the originals, the effects aren't as good. The effects got better. It could be the same board game, and I can forgive the effects now look a lot better, and just have another story of someone found the like. I mean, it's fine what they did with The Rock and the video game thing or whatever, but I just love Jumanji so much that I would have liked to seen, because I've said this to you before, when he describes like the jungle, it sounds really scary.
Yeah.
I love his description of the jungle in that movie. It's really terrifying. And then you see it in the Rock ones, and I'm assuming that's supposed to be the same jungle, right?
Yeah, because they visit his cabin or whatever.
What?
But maybe it was scarier then, and now there's more like colonizers who've come to Jumanji, and so it's maybe not as scary because they've hunted a lot of the wild game. I don't know, because he never mentioned seeing people there.
Yeah.
But in the
Other
game,
than the hunter.
yes,
Right.
other than the hunter, looking at the hunter's garb, and then you know what we've seen in the Rock ones, it does look like it's been aged up a few years. So maybe it could just be like all these British people came in and started clearing the jungle, and it wasn't as scary.
And it's also a magical game
Sure.
that turned itself into a digital video game in the sequel. So I don't think you can really classify the logic of it too much.
Yeah, and maybe he was just in a really hard level of the game, and we've seen more of the tutorial stuff.
It just wasn't what I wanted. I feel like it could have been really scary. Just see, like if you took it real seriously, he's in a like stormy night and there's fucking like a jaguar looking at him.
His tree's in a bog and there's fucking alligators, and he has to fight snakes every night before he goes to bed. And
that's how he made it sound.
It would be like Skull Island, not just a jungle.
Yeah. But so that was my next one, Jumanji. Why is it on there? Crazy.
Yeah. Steve?
But if there was one movie on this list I thought you would assume I would take, it's going to be this one.
Okay.
And it's, of course, the all-time great comedy classic, Basketball.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Basketball sitting at a 41%. Trey Parker, Matt Stone, invent new sport that's a mix of basketball and baseball, where any dumb fat schlub can play it and be great, and they become, superstars of this new sport they created in the, in the front yard of their house that they couldn't afford at the time. And it is just so goddamn funny, even
Yeah.
after all these years. It's a movie no one ever talks about because they're just the South Park guys, and I think I've mentioned this movie to countless people, and pretty much all of them is just like, no, I've never heard of that. I've never seen
That's
that.
crazy.
And it's
that was a big release. Like from the guys who made South Park. You would think that they wrote the movie as well, but they didn't.
yeah, it's just like anyone who's older than me. I think it was just like it was either like they were already over that sort of like childish humor at that point, or so if I talk to anyone younger than me, they don't even remember because they were like not even born yet, or like they were like 3 when that movie came out or something like that.
You were the perfect age, Steve.
Well, I just want to say that I am I'm Steve's age pretty much, and I'm not too far behind Ben here. And I did like South Park, and I didn't really know about this movie.
That's crazy.
I think, and I'm not saying it was you guys that I first heard of it from, but it may have been.
Wow.
Honestly, it may have
Interesting.
been. Yeah.
So I have been a strong, long time defender and advocate of this movie because just every 30 seconds there's another joke, and they're all so clever and funny. And if you love South Park humor, it's all that humor. And they didn't even write this movie, and they didn't direct it either.
Nope.
It's
like they were hired because of South Park, but it's not a voiceover thing. They weren't known for being actors.
Yeah, but they it's still like their brand of humor, and
they definitely put their own stuff.
They put their own spin on it. But just like even in the beginning, where it's just like they're at the reunion of they go to the party of someone they went to high school with, and they're all like preppy kids now who like have jobs and careers and everything.
Got dockers.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh hey, I forget it. It's like, hey Ted, you still drinking beer, playing Nintendo? It's like, no, I run like Google. It's like, what are you guys doing? Drinking beer, playing Nintendo. Just dumb jokes like that, and the sport is something that like I wish like if it came, I think if this movie came out now, there would have been leagues that bursted off of this. Like the same way people play, exactly. The same way people play Quidditch, there would have been basketball, and everyone would just get drunk playing it, and it'd be the best time. And it's just this like thing that just never really took off.
No,
but just
maybe let's do it ourselves.
We
can do it.
Yeah, let's start the basketball league.
And one of the things I love about it wasn't just skill and being able to shoot, but like the psych outs. You're like supposed to like make fun of your opponent and do voices. I don't know. You don't have that sort of. I mean, maybe some like the catchers and baseball players talk shit, but it's not like built into the game. And yeah, you have fighting and hockey, but just insulting your the people you're against.
I mean that's the part that would be like really hard to do. I think it'd be fun as like an audience, like if this was a real sport, the audience would be like, oh, it's fun even though it has no effect on the guy shooting the basketball, or the basketball I should say, because I think there's sometimes in the movie it's just like, oh, I did a silly voice and the guy's like, whoa, and just like throws the ball to the left. It's like there's no human would react that way. But other than that aspect of it, just super clever and funny. And I wish they made another movie like this, because other than like it was like this and then Team America, and then they haven't done anything since.
Yeah, there wasn't even like an asylum. Asylum wasn't really a thing at the time, but like, oh well, we did basketball and baseball. Well, let's do like hockey and tennis, and they do the same sort of thing, but you just combine 2 sports and make a dumb comedy out of it.
And I think the actor's name is Dean Parker, or who played Squeak. I'm not sure if that's his
name. You're Trey Parker.
No. Oh, well, yeah. But I don't
remember his name.
It doesn't matter. The guy who plays Squeak, he was in their first movie, Cannibal, and this, and I think, and he was in Orgasmo. Yeah, and
he's not in Cannibal the Musical. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
He was just like the dude who showed up in like all their movies, but I've never seen him in anything else other than this. And
he's
he's great in all those.
Chris in South Park. He's Satan's boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, he never took off.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a falling out, or if he was just like, I'm not an actor. You're just my friends, and I want to fuck around with you guys.
Sure, yeah.
I really want to run a tire store.
Classic squeak move. But anyway, yeah, if you haven't seen Basketball, watch it. It's dumb, but it's just the right amount of dumb, and it'll make you laugh.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Here's an odd one. Final Destination. Final Destination is a really interesting, unique concept, and every single Final Destination is rotten except for one. Can one take a guess of which one?
I'm gonna say 2.
Number 2? Okay.
I think it's 5.
It's 5.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. I like 5. There's good stuff, and does it only get a
That's,
fresh because of the twist ending?
Racetrack?
No.
That's 4.
It's
the bridge
freeway.
one.
Yeah, the bridge.
The bridge.
Yeah. Racetrack is 4.
4, yeah.
The
The
Final
Final
Destination.
Destination.
That's the
In
worst
3D.
one. Yeah, that's not a great one.
No.
But I love even the bad ones are good because
They have
what's the
good-
cool death?
Yeah.
How creative are you going to be?
Yep.
And that first one takes itself pretty seriously. The sequels definitely go, how can we ramp it up? Oh, let's have an exercise machine for some reason that the weights move out like this. So when
Yeah.
the thing, cuts, it smashes your head. Like that's so impractical. But the first one is real simple, just like hit by a train or decapitated by a piece of metal,
Yeah.
not choking it in the shower. It's a very scary, tense, and you always think you know what's gonna happen, and then like, nope, psych.
They kind of carry that through all of them.
Sure.
Misdirecting you with like, this is what's going to happen. No, it's this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I like the first one and all of them quite a bit. And I love the roller coaster opening of 3 a lot.
Yeah.
Just because that's something I like. A lot of people get on roller coasters, and even when you get in your car, anything could happen. But just with roller coasters, just like for some reason, I'm always fascinated by like the idea that we could get trapped upside down for a while. I mean, I don't want that to happen, God forbid, but like.
But you heard of that
scary.
woman recently who got hit by the roller coaster?
Got hit by the roller
She got hit by a roller coaster. She lost her phone and was like, I want to go get it. And they said,
shit.
wait 15 minutes and we will help you. She didn't listen to them and got hit by a roller coaster and went like 80 feet in the air.
Oh my God.
And she was at that theme park because she had just celebrated like 1 year of being rehabilitated from like a car accident that left her paralyzed. Now she's like hit by a roller coaster and back in the hospital. And it's like, it's funny. You deserve it. They said wait. They said wait 15 minutes. And you're so arrogant that you think you know better than them. You deserve it. I'm sorry. Sucks that it happened. And how ironic to be paralyzed and then paralyzed again. But you know what? You brought it on yourself. Final Destination, great movies.
Yep.
They all deserve to be at least get to 60.
Yeah. I mean, what's happening between some of the cool deaths sometimes can be
Sure,
a little...
like this. I love the second one. I think the second has the best opener death. The log
the
truck,
freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has some of the worst acting.
Exactly. that's
And
what
I
I'm saying,
think like 3 has a really good cast, but some of the middle stuff isn't great. They have their ups and downs for all of them, but I think they're all pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you got?
It's like I want to pick some of the more obscure ones.
Sure.
Kind of. Well, let me knock a few ones I won't talk about a lot
Okay.
off. I like Doom a lot with The Rock.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
that could be rotten. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. And there's gonna be a few movies like that on my list. Man, that first person scene the first time I saw it was a lot of fun. I love watching him fight Carl Urban. They're just flinging each other around.
I love the idea of Carl Urban holding his own against The Rock.
Yeah, well, it's like the super
Sure.
shit or whatever. But yeah, it's got some bad stuff. It's not a great movie, but that's why I'm not going to talk about it a lot. It's just one. I like this movie, and
Okay.
but it could be rotten, sure. What else? I won't talk about them, but I do have some soft spots, or a soft spot for the first 3 Transformers movies.
No.
I like those movies.
No.
Especially the first one. When I was younger, that was like my favorite movie for a while.
Yeah.
I love that movie. 2, it's like I get it, but there's a lot of awesome stuff in 2. I don't care. I like that movie. I don't care. I'm not gonna even talk about it. And 3, Look, we did that last time I was here. I said the action scene from Chicago is like one of my favorite action scenes. Like Michael Bay, he sucks, but man, he can shoot some action scenes. So 1 through 3, I kind of like this movie.
Okay.
Just want to knock him off. I'm not gonna argue with you with this movie, so I'm just gonna say it real quick. I know it's bad, but I like Jupiter Ascending. I'm sorry. There's stuff about that movie I like.
No.
Look, I'm saying this on a. I'm really putting my name on the line. Just let me say it. I know it's not great. A random one I won't talk about. This is mostly like nostalgia. I love Digimon the movie. I mean, look, listen. I'm surprised it has a Rotten Tomatoes score. It seems like one that like critics wouldn't have even like, what the fuck is this? But look, Digimon the movie is fun. I love that movie. All right, let me get to one that I'll talk about.
I got a couple on my list that I think I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet.
I'm sure they're on my list. You won't be surprised by this. I fucking love Spawn.
Oh, yeah.
I love Spawn.
Spawn.
It is bad. I
Yeah.
know it's bad. And I watch it and I laugh at some of the stuff. Like John Leguizamo's clown is just hilariously stupid and bad and just gross. And
Everyone else is so fucking serious in that movie.
then he's just like, yeah,
hamming it up.
taking it too serious, some of them, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the character of Spawn. I'll be honest, I'm not somebody who read a lot of the comics. I played some of the games.
I was more there for the toys. Like,
Yeah.
Spawn always had the cool. McFarlane had the best toys.
Absolutely. And I agree. What else? I mean, I guess my knowledge of Spawn wasn't a whole lot when I was young. I mean, this was 98 also?
90,
96?
97? Yeah, maybe 96.
96, 97, 98, one of those three. So I was
I'd
pretty
say
young.
96, 97, yeah.
I first saw it actually on, we had a black box.
Nice.
And-
black boxes.
yeah,
My
and-
parents were too scared to get one.
And I recorded off that, and I had that and The Ghost in the Darkness.
Okay.
And I was young, and those are two like kind of badass movies.
Yeah.
So I watched those a lot, but I love Spawn. I quoted a lot. There's some really stupid lines in it. But man, he looks fucking awesome. I love how he looks in that
Yeah.
movie.
Cool cape.
Cape
The
is cool.
motorcycle I always thought was cool.
Yeah, it's got a lot of dumb shit in it, but he's just a cool looking character. There's some good
Yeah.
action, and I love Spawn. Lots of nostalgia with that movie.
Hopefully
Soundtrack's
Jamie
great.
Foxx does justice. I doubt it because
Because
he
that happens.
sucks
I've been hearing about the Spawn sequel for way too
forever.
long. I
But
don't even care
there was a
anymore.
more recent announcement of like it is on. This isn't.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and the HBO series I also like. That was a lot of my Spawn knowledge too. Was
Mhm.
from the HBO series, which not an action show at all, but pretty serious, supernatural kind of horror drama. Good stuff.
I think this is why Nick kind of completes this trio is because like me and Nick are the same age,
Mhm.
but he watches all the dumb shit I don't want to. So it's like I'm sitting over here and he's just like listing dumb movie after dumb movie, and you're just like, oh yeah.
Whereas I like just talk at you and you just have a blank stare. Like I have nothing to add to this.
Yeah,
Just
it's
shut
just-
up with your dumb shit. Yeah, Spawn. That's a good one. All right, Steve.
I only have one more movie.
Cool. I got 40.
Oh god.
Yeah, I think I have like 20.
This is also one sitting only 1% away from being fresh, but it's a movie that I know we all love. That's Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Insane.
That's crazy.
That's 3.
That's 3.
One of them, Sam Jackson.
Wait,
This is my favorite Die Hard.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the original, like I get why the original is like, you know, the greatest and it's the classic and, you know, launched this whole franchise. But, oh man, like 3 is so much fun. And it's like Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson at the height of their power. And they're like back and forth, like two guys who shouldn't even know each other on this day or like thrust together and have to like figure this out. And Samuel Jackson is just like a nobody who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, who's like dealing with somebody who he thinks, like when he first meets him, thinks he's a racist because he's got this sign that's like, oh, just like the idea of doing that. Like I would rather like have to defuse a bomb than do that.
Yeah, there's only a 50% chance you're gonna die. Where there's like 99% chance you wear that sign. You're good.
But yeah, just their like back and forth sort of like buddy comedy duo, but thrust in this like puzzle master Riddler situation that ties into the first one because the villain is the brother. Like that's how you do a sequel. Because like although I think I've seen Die Hard 2 just like once and going like, it's okay.
It's second to worst.
That's like the airport.
Yeah, Die Hard at an airport. But like I think this is how you do a sequel. You know, you bring back sort of a character who has connection to John McClane's past, and you just raise the stakes. And now it's like this thing that's like covering the entire city, and they're robbing the what is
Like
it,
reserve.
National Reserve and everything, and just stealing all this gold. And
Mhm.
Jeremy Irons is badass in this movie.
Yeah.
Just great stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, it blows my mind, and
Yeah.
it's a perfect action film.
And it's weird that the next one, Live Free Die Hard, is considered like nobody really talks about the fifth one. It's like it's not even a Die Hard movie because it's so bad. You know, it's got Jay Courtney in it. So, so Live Free Die Hard is considered the like one of the worst Die Hards, even though it's my second favorite.
I love
That one is fresh, but Vengeance is not.
Mhm.
That's crazy. But the main thing I remember from it, you know, the water bottle
Yeah.
trivia, like you got a 3 gallon and a 5 gallon and you got to get 2 gallons. How do you do it? And like that blew my mind as a kid, like, oh my god, math is awesome.
I do need to use this in the real
Do you know
world.
how to solve it? Like if you had to do it right now, 5 gallon jug,
I
3 gallon jug.
I think I would, but not in like the 2-minute time frame.
Yeah, and he says like it has to be pretty exact, and they're like spilling it all over the place. But
yeah.
yeah, I had that on my list as well. Okay, I'm gonna bring up one that I think you should have said by now. Constantine.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Okay, I'll let you have it then. Okay,
Okay.
what up, Jennifer's Body?
While I definitely agree, I don't know if I have that on my list.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I
I
will-
love Jennifer's Body.
I don't have much to say about Jennifer's Body, but it is like underrated. But I think now has the eyes on it. People recognize how good it is. So another one that I love that is underappreciated is Speed Racer.
Sorry.
What? Yeah, I hit it. Yeah.
Oh.
Is Speed Racer. Speed Racer is great, and I don't care what anybody says. Yes, it's loud. Yes, it's colorful.
It's rotten.
It's rotten. Speed Racer is at 41%
Wow.
with
Good.
60% audience.
I like
score.
Speed Racer.
Speed Racer is great. It's just remarkable editing and good. Yeah, they're cartoony, but they're supposed to be like the special effects are
Yeah.
silly. It's supposed to look like this old cartoon. It's a cheesy masterpiece. Everybody's great. Christina Ricci is just adorable. What's his name?
Emil Hirsch.
Well, Emil Hirsch is good, but Dad
John Goodman.
John Goodman, perfect for that role.
Matthew Fox.
Matthew Fox is Racer X.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is
The kid.
the kid and the
The
monkey. Yeah, but they're not in it that much. But Speed Racer is a great movie and one of the better Wachowski movies.
Agree 100%.
Yeah.
Even though I like Jupiter's Ending, like I said, and I like Cloud Atlas. So
Yeah,
yeah, they've done good stuff, honestly.
yeah. I like Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas is good, and it's like I
Is that
understand it.
rotten? Probably not. It's probably
No, I bet it is because everyone took the like racist stuff really hard.
Well, if it is, I like Cloud Atlas also.
What do you got?
Just pick one. Oh, you know what? I bet you this one's pretty close to being fresh, but it shouldn't be rotten. I like Tron Legacy a lot. So I have Tron Legacy.
How
on
is
there.
that rotten?
I mean, it might not have like the best plot ever.
Sure, but it's just like visuals and sound.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's just great. I mean, that you guys were talking about movies you would watch it if they were just on. I don't have cable and haven't had it for a while, so that wouldn't be a scenario that I would come across. But I can imagine if Tron Legacy was on, I might watch it for a bit because it's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I won't talk about that much. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. Tron Legacy, it should be fresh. Yeah.
Steve's all done.
Yeah. So it's we're just going
just you
back
and me,
forth.
back and forth.
Back and forth, rapid fire.
I'll jump in if I feel like.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think you might want to jump in on a few of mine.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
One of the more modern ones that actually came out this year that is rotten. Don't Worry, Darling. I like that movie. I think it's good, and it's a 38%.
I recently saw that with my girlfriend, and it's fine. I'm not saying it needs to be rotten, but I don't ever need to see that again, and it didn't floor me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that kind of movie before. I feel like I can't, or
Yeah, it's
that
a Twilight Zone sort of.
they're
story.
plugged into a thing. Really,
Yeah.
I was hoping for something more. I think
Sure.
for the explanation. I mean, it's well acted, and up until then, but I think just subverted my.
I think people are just too hard on it. I think it's a perfully fine movie as is, and people need to stop shitting on it.
I don't hate it. Oh, sorry. Wow, that's on your list of.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking through all the stuff that came out this year, and It's been a pretty fresh year for things, so it was hard to find something modern and bad.
All right. Well, you were very passionate about that movie, getting a lot of hate, and you don't think it deserves it. This is one I feel like has been getting a lot of hate for a long time, and I don't understand why. The Lost World,
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Why
yeah.
does everyone hate that movie? Yeah, the gymnastics scene with is a
Sure.
little over the top,
But at
like,
least someone kills a dinosaur.
yeah.
Like, does Sam Neill ever kill a dinosaur? No. Does Dr. Ian Malcolm kill a dinosaur? No. She kills a dinosaur.
Yeah. I like that movie. And the T-Rex stuff in the city is great.
Mm-hmm. It does feel like two different movies, and they really should have saved the city stuff for a part 3, and it would have been like a pretty satisfying trilogy, but Steven Spielberg had to do it.
Oh, and like, what's more tense than like the trailer over the side of the cliff and the glass like slowly breaking?
Yeah.
Like, that scene is tense, and the T-Rex are fighting or whatever. Like, I really like Lost World. I could see people saying it's one of their least favorite of the franchise or something like that, but and there is, again, as with a lot of the movies I'm going to pick, there's some nostalgia attached. Like anything in the late '90s, early 2000s when I was like peak kid. And so,
and I loved that first movie, and then read the book multiple times, loved it. Read the second book, loved it. So I'm biased. I do like that movie.
Yeah. So Lost World is one I do not think deserves to be run. I really like that movie.
There's 2 shots in that movie that, it's been a long time since I've seen that, but the 2 shots I remember the most are the mercenary team or whatever in the tall grass, and you just see the raptors coming in. I always thought that was really cool.
Yep.
And just the I don't know if it was the T-Rex, but whatever, like grabs the guy like under the waterfall and brings him back, and then the blood pool, just such there's like cool stuff in that movie.
Yeah.
But I hate like 2 seconds before that, like a spider or a snake gets on him, and he's all like, "Whoa!" and backs up to the T-Rex that they're running from. Like, I hate snakes, but I understand a T-Rex is a much scarier animal. All right, sequels. Talking about sequels that didn't get respect. Alien 3. It's a 47% Rotten Tomatoes. It is a great movie. It is a wonderful ender to
Me and Steve are walking out of the room
the original trilogy. It's excellent. There's nothing wrong with it. It takes it back to basics. It's a very simple, scary story of one alien and people who are just not equipped to take care of it. And it's great, and it doesn't deserve the hate. You could shit on Resurrection and AVP, that's fine, but Alien 3 does not deserve the hate.
I don't love Alien 3. Because it's an alien movie, I enjoy it. I love that whole universe and all those movies. It's definitely not one of my favorites, though. I mean, better than Resurrection?
Resurrection does some big ideas, and it's stylish.
Yeah. Resurrection has a nice look to it. I'm a sucker for that, like,
it's like real 2000s, real wet and industrial.
That like Event Horizon. Was Event Horizon rotten?
No. Oh, actually, I don't know. You know what? I think I was gonna look that up, and then I was like, oh wait, I don't love Event Horizon. I like Event Horizon, but if it's rotten, like, okay, I get it.
Wow. Yeah. See, well, I'm not even gonna look because I would need like a whole podcast episode to talk about Event Horizon, but
31%.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Event Horizon needs to be on my list. I'm not going to talk about it, but great movie.
One I thought would be on yours is Silent Hill.
It is. I was saving it. Yeah.
Okay. Talk about Silent Hill, Nick.
Silent Hill's the best.
Best video game movie.
Definitely the best video game movie. And I mean, what are some others that are like really
Prince of Persia's a pretty good movie for what it's based off of.
Oh, man, I love Silent Hill. It just does such a good job. Even like, I love that opening scene it's not the opening scene, but when she first gets to Silent Hill.
Yeah. The straight jacket type of guy.
It's just good. They get the atmosphere of the game. I mean, I haven't beat a single Silent Hill game, but I've played a lot of them. And yeah, they nailed the camera angles, the music, the atmosphere. It's got a pretty good story. There's
using a lighter as like your only light source.
Yeah. The girl that plays Alessa is and her daughter is a little not that great.
Yeah.
She's probably like the one part that because I watched it, I showed it to my
Rhoda Mitchell, isn't that her name?
That's the mom.
Yeah.
Her daughter, I mean, the character,
okay.
The girl, whoever plays her daughter and Alessa, who's like the evil spirit. Yeah. Yeah, no, I recently showed it to my girlfriend, and it's not perfect. It's
Sure.
really not.
Yeah.
But I like even the like lava looking creatures that she runs into towards the end before she like passes out in the opening sequence of when she gets
Lava
there.
creatures?
Yeah, the lava baby looking things.
Oh, yeah.
They look bad, and they always
Yeah.
look bad. I mean, even
Yeah.
when I first saw that movie, but the rest of the effects really hold up. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on, I like that's the reason I showed her. Before I even showed her that movie, I showed her Pyramid Head ripping the skin off and throwing it
Yeah.
at the church, like skinning the girl. Like that shit is crazy.
Yeah. I don't love the ending of like a bed comes from the floor and barbed wire just attacks
Yeah.
everybody.
But it is a
It's
nice gory, a lot of gore
sure,
and blood.
and it fits that sort of like Japanese video games, and they do horror. Sometimes it gets a little too spiritual and a little weird. I kind of wish Pyramid Head just kind of busted in and just started hacking everyone down, but it makes sense for what it is.
I like seeing her barbed wire rip apart
Sure,
that chick though, but yeah.
I feel bad for the cop.
Yeah. Oh, the blonde.
Getting burned alive. She didn't deserve that.
It's a shame the sequel to that movie is so bad.
God, yeah,
Won't
that's
even talk about that, but
bad movie.
yeah.
Let's see.
I just want to say something real quick.
Sure.
While you guys are talking about video game movies, Rotten Tomatoes has a list of 49 video game films.
From highest to lowest.
From highest to lowest.
Okay.
Only 5 are fresh. The other 44 are all rotten.
Is it Sonic or Sonic 2?
Probably. So at number 5 is Sonic the Hedgehog at 63%. 90% audience score, though. Then Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at 69%. 93% audience score.
Okay.
It was better.
That's what I hear. I haven't seen it.
Number 3 at 68%. Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
At number 2, The Angry Birds Movie 2,
Oh,
73%.
Never seen it, but shut up.
And with an actual rotten audience score, but 86% critic score, Werewolves Within is the highest rated video game movie of all time.
We watched that.
Yeah. It's good.
I like it.
And I'm sure Super Mario Brothers will top that chart. And
Oh, the new one.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a shame. Video games are the easiest things to adapt. They have already done all the legwork, all the storytelling. You just got to compress it.
Also, number 49 at 1%, directed by Yul Boll.
Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll, Alone in the Dark.
Yeah.
Movie's awful.
I like Alone in the Dark better than House of the Dead.
Oof. That's like different species of like shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, oh, this is a snake and a snake. Like, yeah, but they're both snakes.
Not bad.
Okay.
I saw, remember that brag from earlier? I saw House of the Dead in theaters.
Oh, I saw In the Name of the King in theaters. That was another Uwe Boll one.
But that's better.
They're all on the list.
Anyway.
Yeah, never saw his like Postal or anything like that. I saw Blood Rain 3. Steve,
Rampage.
you and I watched Blood Rain 3.
Rampage is one of my favorites of his, but it's
Okay.
kind of a. I'm sure he wants to forget he made that movie, or maybe he doesn't care.
It's kind of incel-y, isn't it?
No. Rampage is
I'm thinking
timely. It's just like he just puts on armor and just starts shooting everybody in the town, and he gets away with it.
Didn't they make like 3 of them?
They did keep making them. I think I saw the second one. And it might have been okay. I think there's 3 of them, and it's just like okay, enough. But it's only because it was like one of his more well-received ones.
Yeah.
And cheap to make, so I think he was like, all right, they like that one. Let's do more.
And isn't it like the redheaded dude from
Yeah.
my next movie, Freddy versus Jason?
He is in that movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. It's one of the better Freddy movies.
I like
It's one of the
that movie.
better Jason movies.
Fun.
And it's weird that they got some like Hong Kong action director to get it to make it, but it's a really good representation of both. It's got good deaths. It's funny. It has its moments of scary, like the corn scene, cornfield scene is great. The big battle with Freddy doing his high kicks and stuff, and the rebar falling on her. It's just it's a whole lot of fun.
It's like they're in like a factory or
No,
something,
it's Crystal Lake being remodeled, so it's just a bunch of construction stuff.
Oh, okay. In that fight.
But there is a like inside his mind.
that
It's
one.
that spooky Freddy factory.
Yeah, that one. And then like at the lake there, I'm remembering like that scene of him like jumping out of the lake.
Yeah, he like takes Freddy's arm with the glove and shoves it through him.
Yeah, I think I saw that one in theaters too.
Mhm.
Maybe got drugged to that one by like my older brother and my dad. but I hadn't seen a lot of those franchises, and I still really had a good time.
But they
with
do a good job of like letting you know
Yeah.
who these characters are. You can go in that with very little knowledge, but
Definitely
love it.
great movie. Well, really fun movie.
Fun movie, yeah. Not a great movie, but a fun movie.
Yes. Okay. Equilibrium.
Yeah.
I really like Equilibrium. I still remember seeing the ads for it not too long after The Matrix, and they were like saying like, you know,
if you like The Matrix, you
yeah,
love
we'll
this.
blow The Matrix away or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like, it's nothing even remotely close to
No.
The Matrix in any way. Not even in the way the action is shot. It's not even like slow mo.
Yeah.
I really like this movie. It's a cool concept. It's
Mhm.
like taking a drug to suppress feelings because that makes us a better, you know, society. And you know, wars and conflict come from, you know, feelings and emotions. So you
Yeah.
gotta suppress that. Kind of scary concept. But
Definitely not a world I want to live in, but
no. And I think similar concepts have been done in other forms of media or whatever, films or whatever. But really good. I like the idea of the clerics or whatever that like enforce it. Yeah, it's got some fun action. There is like one silly kind of scene, but like where he's showing off what they have the gung fu. It's like how you position your guns, and if you go through all these motions, you can cover like no matter where the opponent is in the room, you will hit them if you go through all these motions.
Yeah.
It looks kind of silly when they use it.
Yeah.
The first time, but towards the end, he's like Christian Bale is in it. It's like early in his career. He's like invading like. It's like final boss of the movie, kind of.
Yeah, it goes up in the elevator to the
and there's a bunch of
penthouse,
enemies,
yeah.
and he's running, and he's doing the different positions, and there isn't any special effects using it. He's just like, you know, doing the choreography, and he's hitting every single one, and it's just like really awesome looking.
Yeah.
And I really like that movie. I showed that to my ex actually a long time ago. She doesn't even like those kind of movies. She just picked it out of my collection of movies, and I was like,
oh, I can't imagine someone picking up that cover and going, let's watch this.
I just remember she pulled it out of the collection because of the name, and then she was like, okay, we can watch this. And I was like, really? And then I thought about it, and I was like, she might like this, and she really did.
Yeah. Because it's more than just an action movie. It's got some
cool concept. You got Sean Bean in it. He does die. But,
yeah, of course.
But he's great in it.
Who's the other dude, his partner, his new partner, right? Black dude? Taye Diggs.
And he's really he's really good in it too. He's like menacing.
The scene I remember the most is just like hasn't been taking his pills for a while, and they come across a bunch of dogs, and he's like, I'm gonna take this one home for like research. And it's like, oh no, he's just falling in love with, you know, dogs and seeing them as being special.
That's a tense scene too, because they're like, you know, he's feeling clearly. Oh no, we got a feeler. Really cool movie.
I Return to Oz.
Is that the James Franco?
No, that is. What is that one called?
Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oz the Great and Powerful. Return to Oz is Fairuza Balk, and it is. She was in The Craft. Yep.
I know what you're talking about.
She's young. She's playing young Dorothy. After Dorothy has returned from Oz, her Auntie Em and Uncle whatever think she's gone crazy because of all the crazy stories she's talking about, and so she eventually gets to go back to Oz, and it's like post-apocalyptic Oz. It's very dark, very scary, some horrifying puppetry and claymation. It's awesome. And
it's supposed to be scary?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even though I think
the theaters?
Yeah. And I think it's just like a PG, and it did really poorly. Oh, I want to say like 86 or something.
Wow, it actually sounds really cool.
It's awesome. There's guys called like the Wheelers, and they have like long limbs and wheels on their feet, and then their helmets are faces. So when they look down, it's like a face at you, and then they're just like on their hands and knees, like wheeling down the road. It's very spooky stuff. I highly recommend it. Like Wizard of Oz is fine, and it's a classic, but this one is great. And it used to hold the record for the longest gap in between original and sequel, but I think there's been something recently that
something like Tron Legacy or something.
No, I mean even longer than that. I mean that's only like 20 years.
Top Gun Maverick, maybe.
That would be like 40 years, but this was even longer. This was like 60 something years. Something just recently did break it. I can't remember what though, but yeah, Return to Oz, awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna knock a few more off the list without talking to him.
I'll do two more.
Okay. I won't even go into how great these movies are, how much I love them, but Blade and Blade 2.
Yep.
I really love both of these movies. I hate Blade Trinity, and I think Steve might want to hop in on this possibly, but I fucking hate
Steve
that
loves
movie.
Blade
Blade Trinity sucks. Ryan Reynolds is like, I really don't like Ryan Reynolds. Like
Yep.
he's made for Deadpool that role because
Uh-huh.
Deadpool is annoying.
Uh-huh.
He's not funny usually. I don't like Ryan Reynolds, but except when he's kind of like when he's trying to be serious, I think he's a decent actor. I just don't find his humor funny.
Like an Amityville or something.
Yeah, sure. And I almost put R.I.P.D. on this because I kind of like that movie. It's really dumb fun, but I didn't. put
It's
it
just
in there.
Men in Black with ghosts,
Yeah.
and that's a great concept. That's
But- But
this
Jeff
meets
Bridges,
that.
Jeff Bridges is hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, but he's just doing his true grit voice. He's
Yeah.
just
Anyway, Blade 1, really fun.
amazing.
Awesome movie. It's like just great. And Blade 2, so much good action in that movie. Guillermo del Toro. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And Ron Perlman and was it Donnie Yen?
Donnie Yen is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were they called? The like Reavers or something or I don't know, the split jaw
Yeah.
thing. They're just
Yeah, I don't remember.
they're awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah.
So Blade 1, 2. You're gonna both just roll your eyes, so I'll just go over this one real quick. But he said Turtles earlier. I love the original Turtles. Secret Ooze is it's good, but I like things about the 2014 one. It's not good.
Yeah.
So it deserves the rotten, I will say. But
That's not TMNT, but the live action, quote unquote.
Yeah, the Michael Bay produced whatever.
Yeah, okay.
There's bad stuff in it. They are ugly. They're hideous. But the Splinter Shredder fight is awesome, and then the fight between them at the end, Shredder and all four of them, is awesome. And I liked it. And I think that's the same one with like the avalanche scene. Or
Yes.
that's pretty fun too.
I only saw those movies once.
I like the first one a lot more than the second one because it has memorable action.
Mhm.
The second one I thought was going to be better because it had like Krang and stuff.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
But I only saw that one like once, and I remember feeling really disappointed.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited for the new one, the Seth
Me
Rogen.
too. Me
produced
too.
one.
Everything Turtles is great. So anyway, Turtles 14 I had on there, 2014. Jet Li's The One.
No.
Yeah, I
Should have
know.
known this one was
Great concept, terrible movie.
Man, I remember being over here with Steve, and we were watching just like the action scenes from it, and I was laughing so hard because I was like, "There's not one." Like what a example of like a product of its time just from the music that's in it. There's 2 Papa Roach songs in this movie. 2, not 1, but 2. They had to put 2 in there, and I fucking love Papa Roach. So anyway, there's fun action in it. The special effects hold up. It's a cool multiverse movie. I like that movie. I'll just throw one more off the list. John Carter. I like John Carter. A
Oh
lot,
yeah,
too.
John Carter Mars
Yeah.
is good. I remember I rewatched it recently and went, okay, maybe it's not as good as I remember
Really.
it,
I haven't seen it in a while, I will say, but
there's potential. I wish they would have kept
me
going.
too. Me
But
too.
Tyler Kitsch is not
He's
wasn't
not a
your
leading-
guy.
He's not a leading man.
Yeah.
But other than, I mean, he's not unlikable either.
Mm-mm.
And there's a lot of stuff in that movie that I really like. So I like that movie. Don't think we'll ever see another one, but maybe Disney Plus will do something. John Carter.
You got to give it another 10 years.
Maybe.
And isn't it kind of funny? Like him and the princess are both in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is also a bad movie.
Yeah. Taylor Kitsch doesn't have a great record,
No,
really. And that's
I
why
love him as Gambit. I think he's an excellent Gambit.
Yeah.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah. Okay, I won't say anymore. Go ahead.
Okay,
What's
I'm gonna talk about Anaconda.
Ooh, I love Anaconda.
Great movie. Yeah, most killer animal movies are not very good. They're just there to be animal gore effects. And this was kind of like the resurgence. And we got like Lake Placid after this. And Jennifer Lopez, who would have ever thought Jennifer Lopez would do a killer snake movie? Like, there's no chance in hell she would
Ice
ever
Cube.
do that. Ice Cube.
John Boyd.
And, wow, guy.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Eric Stoltz, is that his name? I think it's Eric Stoltz. Great cast.
Yeah.
Get to see John Voight get regurgitated.
Snake effects are kind of dated
Yeah,
now, but
they
they were
are.
awesome at the time.
But they were great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love Anaconda.
me too.
I hate snakes, but I love watching people get eaten by snakes.
Yeah, especially one so outrageously large. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like the Lake Placid alligator, crocodile, whatever is pretty big, but
Yeah.
the snake is huge.
Huge. and I know they're just as bad, but Anaconda 2 and 3 I also enjoy. They're worse, but I enjoy them.
No opinion.
All right, I got one more,
Yeah. Oh, then you're done.
and then I'm done.
Oh, great. So I was just like,
Yeah, your turn.
oh, really? Okay. Sorry. I'll knock a few off, but I'll try not to talk about it too much. I don't know if anyone's seen. I know you have. Drop Dead Fred.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but
I
I
like
love Phoebe Cates.
I like that movie. Um, is this a video game movie? Ninja Assassin? That's like an arcade game, right?
Ninja Assassin.
I
Ninja
believe Ninja
Assassin.
Assassin is a.
I think Wachowski's had something to do with that too.
They produced it. I don't think it's based off a video game.
Yeah, you might be right.
Ninja Assassin. Look it up.
That is such a generic name. I'm sure there is like an
thought
old.
it's like an arcade game, maybe not like a.
But that was the guy. He had like the whippy thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't think that's based on anything.
Anyway, I like that movie quite a bit. I know it's wrong. It's gotta be.
Yeah, I remember falling asleep during that, but going like, "Oh, that
The
had some fun
non-action
stuff."
stuff is kind of like,
Yeah.
eye roll, but it's not like Legend of Chun Li bad or anything. Monkey Bone.
Okay.
It's pretty bad, but
Yeah?
isn't that Henry Selick too? I'm pretty sure.
Well, the monkey parts of it, or the underworld parts, because not all of it's claymation. Like Rose
No,
McGowan is.
I think he just directed the movie. In general. I
Oh,
think Henry Selick directed
Oh,
Monkey
maybe,
Bone.
okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a weird movie.
Rose
and-
McGowan as a cat girl. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Brendan Fraser, the Brendan Fraser Renaissance. Everyone loves him because of Mummy Returns, which is the next thing on my list.
I knew you would have the mummy on here.
But yeah, I love Monkey Bone. It's a weird movie. Check it out if you like weird movies.
Both are the first two are both rotten for the mummy.
I don't have the first Mummy on here, so I think it's fresh.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just putting the Mummy Returns on there.
Mummy Returns is better than Mummy. I'm sorry.
Awesome action. It gets a bad rep for like that CGI on the rock.
Yep.
But I liked when I was younger. I don't care. I was like, bro, he looks cool to me. I see it now, but back then I was like, this movie fucking rocks.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It rocks.
I saw that movie in a drive-in. It was like a double feature. I want to say either with the first Spider-Man or the second Spider-Man. I don't remember.
Okay.
But what an awesome
Well,
drive-in.
99 was Mummy, and 2002 was Spider-Man.
So maybe Spider-Man 2.
No, it's probably Spider-Man 1.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, awesome double feature.
That's not bad.
Those were two. Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
I fucking love those movies.
Yeah.
I have a Bioraptor tattoo on me. That's one of my more obscure ones. No one's ever been like, whoa, Pitch Black. I get a lot of like, whoa, what's that? But never that.
Yeah.
So,
Bioraptor is cool.
Yeah.
It's a good design.
And then I guess I'll talk about this one, Constantine, which you were going to say
Yeah.
earlier. I love Constantine. I don't know how I feel about the fact that they're doing another one. I feel like they waited kind of long, and I don't know if I want to see that much,
Yeah.
but I'll certainly watch it. I know a lot of people. I haven't read the comics. I know he doesn't look like John
No.
Constantine, but
He's blonde and British.
it's an awesome rendition of hell. I've talked to people a lot about like different. You don't see hell a lot in movies like Point Blank. This is hell. I really like that version. I really like What Dreams May Come's version of hell. But yeah, cool version of hell. I like how he gets to hell. It's kind of like a cool thing. Everything.
Peter
is just-
Stormare is Satan.
great devil,
is
yeah.
great. Tilda introduced
Swinton.
us to Tilda Swinton.
Fantastic.
That was one of those weird things of like self-reflective of that person is very attractive, but I don't know if that's a man or a woman.
Yeah, same.
I
thought that too.
was so confused at how androgynous this person was.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and then you hear the name Tilda, like, I don't know what that is. Where is that from?
Yeah.
But yeah, great movie.
Yeah, there's a PS2 game for that as well. That's not great, but also kind of.
Is it kind of like Devil May Cry? That's what I'm picturing.
No,
Okay.
it's not quite that like fast-paced action. But yeah, I like Constantine a lot.
Yeah. I don't like any of the Constantine animated stuff. When
the DC animated.
yeah.
Yeah.
He, especially when he's the lead, he's annoying. But
Make him kind of douchey almost.
yeah,
but-
and I think that's what he is. He is just a major douche, but he's just
Yeah.
not fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I do like this version of it. But I don't think it did great in theaters.
Yeah, I don't think it did either.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters. That's what I'm proud to say. I
Mhm,
saw it in
mhm.
theaters. Yeah.
And I like that it doesn't necessarily explain everything. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a monster. I'm going to pull this random thing out of my bag and it's going to make a weird sound and a flash of light. And like, what was it? Who cares? But if
Yeah.
you watch the DVD, they actually like go through a lot of the things. Like, remember how he wraps a thing around his hand and lights it on fire to like get rid of the bug monster, I think?
Yeah. Oh, when they're outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they go, we didn't have time to explain what that was, but this this was like part of the cloth of what Jesus was wearing when he was crucified or something. Like they really know every little thing he does. They just didn't have time to put it in. So.
That's awesome.
Do you want to see Shia LaBeouf come back as like the dead angel sidekick in the sequel?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm always, especially the more time that's passed. I mean, he's not like an iconic character or anything, but like the more people that return from the original, and more, I'm usually like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'd watch Nick Cage as fucking like Ghost Rider again.
yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
I'm surprised we didn't get him in Multiverse of Madness. I really thought
I don't need to see a whole other movie, but if he appeared as Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
like that would have been so cool.
Well, he could have been on the stupid council of assholes, whatever. That's fine.
That's what it was called, the stupid
The
Castle
stupid
of
council.
Assholes.
They could have went different planets, just a bunch of idiots.
Stan Lee was like pissed that day when he was playing that.
They had the world's smartest man, but they're all the council of dumb assholes.
Yeah,
It's,
because
ironic.
that's what Reed Richards is. He's just a big asshole. So my final one, Steve, it's a classic Ben and Steve movie.
Ooh,
Any
oh.
idea?
We
We talk about it a lot.
Give me just a hint, because
It's a 4-letter word.
it's got to be push.
It's push. 24% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That movie fucking rules. Man.
Yeah. And had such potential for a sequel. Even if we didn't get a trilogy, another one, it deserved it. Everybody's good.
It's got the Evans in it too.
Young
You
Dakota
guys fucking love
Fanning.
Chris Evans.
He's great.
Yeah.
Name something he's bad in.
I have nothing.
Exactly.
I pushed. I saw that in theaters.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you watch any comic book movie and they could just pull anything out of their ass. Oh, this person has laser farts or whatever. It could be anything. But this is like there's 7 powers and that's all you can get. And I like that it really focuses down on, well, what kind of story can we tell when this is the only superpowers you get? And they're all really interesting and I would take any of them, but it's a really unique looking movie and it's a shame that it didn't go anywhere.
Agreed. A lot of fun gunfighting with just like levitation
Floating
and
telekinesis guns, yeah.
Yeah, just a cool take on that. And like I said, Evans is great in it. The love interest, Camilla, I think.
Camilla Bell.
Camilla Bell, yeah.
And yeah, another one that just like never really took off and was also in Lost World.
But I
She
mean,
got eaten by the compies at the very beginning.
The young girl. Yeah.
she was pretty, but I never felt in anything I saw of her she was a good actress. So I see like why
One
she never
missed
really
call.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, not
No,
One Missed
she's
Call.
When a Stranger
When a
Calls.
Stranger
When a Stranger
Calls.
Calls,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that in theaters.
Same.
That was one of those weekends where me and my dad had nothing else.
And someone who was in both Constantine and Push, Digimon Hansu.
Yeah. That's like
He pronounced his name Digimon.
Oh, we always pronounce his name Digimon. I know it's not Digimon.
Jamon Hansu.
Jamon Hansu, yeah.
Yeah.
I know the proper way to say it. I just refuse to.
That dude has been in a lot of comic book movies.
Yeah. You know, people always talk about like Samuel Jackson, like that guy was in everything. I feel like, I mean, he kind of is just because he's popping up in all the Marvel properties now. But like, I feel like Digimon is one of those guys who's like, you kind of forget he's in everything because he's not like a big name, but he's in so much stuff. Like he's always just like the go-to, like we need like a good actor, but who isn't going to distract from the film in any way. Get Digimon in here.
and he was one of those actors who like didn't speak any English when he got his first role in like Amistad and had to like learn on set and watch just like television to get better at English, and like a Anna de Armas like learned English in 1 year and now she's, you know, this amazing American and bilingual actress. But yeah, Jamon Hansu, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He could be sweet and scary, and
Is he in The Woman King right now?
and he was in Constantine
Yes, he was.
and Shazam and
Sam, yeah.
was it? Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just said Constantine and Push.
Oh,
yeah.
That's how I brought it together.
oh no, I thought you mentioned something else.
Maybe
Oh,
I did, and I
sorry.
just thought
Yeah.
I said Constantine.
Yeah,
He's
man.
in that much. Great.
Yeah. Well, as we can see, there's a lot of movies that critics don't know fuck about shit about. If you have anything that we didn't cover, because that was a huge list. That was like 50 fucking movies that we named off. Hit us up. We are at WRPL Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and Gmail. Nick, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good time.
Hope to do it again.
Yeah.
As always, I'm Ben.
And I'm Steve.
Good night.